I've got all the angels and the fairies. Isn't that amazing? I'm just having fun with the little fairies. We'll open the window for them. Open the window for the fairies. Hi, fairies. It's me. We're gonna have a channel today. We're gonna go way out there, so buckle up. We're gonna talk about 2025 blueprint for hello, Mother Father. Hello, Mother Father. Hello. Hello, angels and the galactic. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Lots of spirit today. Lots of spirit today. Lots of spirit today. Do you see spirit everywhere? Do you see spirit everywhere? Do you see spirit everywhere? Spirit is everywhere. I'm so happy. I've been moving up in my vibration and so close with spirit and so connected with spirit. I've really been enjoying my private time. But there's lots of going to be energies, lots of energies around my head, lots of spirits and stuff. So let's check in and let's have some fun. So everybody just connect and call in your soul fragments. That's what we want to do because we want to be bigger light, bigger light, bigger light, bigger light. And just remember, you can always see light ships and little angels and little fairies that are always around me, little beings that are constantly always with me. I walk with a big, big tribe, all dimensions, all realms. So I'm so grateful to call them in, so grateful to call them in, so grateful to call them in. Calling in all of my beautiful divine beings of the holy light. My systems of light, the Galactic Federation, Holy Ashtar. Thank you, Holy Ashtar. The spirits of the heavenly angels and all of the masters I walk with, the Sister Seven, and all of the elementals and the fairies that are always a part of my tribe. Thank you, elementals and fairies. Fairies are always bopping around me. So funny. So let's go. Today we're going to talk about 2025 blueprint and beyond, those that are aligned with New Earth, those that choose to be a part of New Earth. It is all about the inner work that you do, your inner work of ascension, integrating all that you are as a soul. There is no other way through ascension. The ascension process is everything to do with your aspects of all that you have ever been through 3 to 5D. That is the kind of prerequisite of moving into a 5D template, is that you must take ownership and accountability of 51% of your karma, and Source Creator will then do the rest of that transmuting of your soul fragments, if you will. That has been the grace that Mother Father have given us, which is so very generous, because 51% is, considering all of the lifetimes we've ever had, it's quite lengthy that we've had so many lifetimes. But Mother Father have said those that choose to reunite with Mother Father Source, which you're always reunited anyways, it's just how we've been taught and how we've been told and shown in all of our 3D timelines has been very separative. So now we're raising our vibration to a higher vibrational understanding of who we are within all creation, who we are as Source Creator, who we are as Spirit God, allowing the little box stores of religion, the little box stores of what we've practiced as Mother, Father, God, to be okay, to be all that it is, but also know that we're meant to rise in vibrational unity of who we are. That vibrational unity means that all the things we've practiced, all the realms we've come from, how we've practiced being who we are in our spirit body, from here on out, as we said, everything is spiritual because our matter is becoming more spirit, our matter is becoming more light, we're becoming more harmonized with light, we're more having greater consciousness and enlightenment understandings of what light is, how light operates within and without us, how we can become more harmonized and synergistic with light, how that is everything to do with our consciousness, and just calling it in, remembering how we create reality is through intention, direction, and focus of who you are. So that's why, again, we've said if you're focusing on other people, then you're not focusing within, you're not doing your own stuff. And why, you'll find your life going a lot smoother and a lot higher in vibration if you begin to pull all of your energy back, reclaim all of your energy, reclaim all your power, and start focusing who you are within. As above, so below, as within and so without, you start manifesting that reality that is more intentional to who you are as a being. And that's why you end up letting go of all the smaller box store beliefs because you just understand that there were just aspects of you, the soul fragments, just aspects of you for you to try out who you were for a little while. You don't have to stay there and you don't have to remain there. So in every day, it's a new day. In every day, there are new ceremonies that you can do with who you are with Source Creator. Everybody comes with a soul blueprint that is designed and meant to take you through a traverse of all energies so that you can get to know and master your emotional body, which is the 4D realm. 3D is where we've earned all the karma, where we've earned all the lessons, where we usually create karmic relationships. 3D is how we've come here to say, okay, this is the very lowest of our vibration that we can be in matter form. 4D is that choosing through intention of consciousness to heal all the 3D timelines. So as I said, everybody has 51% that they have to do of their own alchemy. They have to choose to do that inner work themselves by calling yourself in as source creator. I can alchemize this. I created it. I can see my way around these things. To do that, you have to master your fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension is truly honoring in how to understand who you are as a multi-vibrational, multi-dimensional being. That means that you have many emotions, you have many feelings, you have many experiences that you are as this beautiful encompassment. And how can you keep entraining yourself to a higher vibrational center point? As we said in many of our videos a little while ago, the center point is going to keep changing because the light of who we are is changing. We're gathering in more light every day. Our attention, our direction, our focus is becoming more light. We're choosing to do more things that make sense for us. We're doing it as more self-directing and more self-designing instead of allowing ourselves to be completely run by outer things. We're allowing ourselves to be absolutely self-designing and self-directing. That is sovereignty. We don't need anything outside of us, church and state, to tell us who we are, to rise higher, to be healthier, to have a whole new reality. It is entirely up to us, and that is that returning back within. That is source itself, the holographic experience, if you will. Source calling itself back to itself. So that is the process of ascension. There are those that obviously, because we need that and we've created these contracts at the very highest level, there are those in our lives that have chosen to take on the very darker contracts. And we have chosen to, because it's our timing of ascension, everybody has within their soul's blueprint. Everybody has within their soul's blueprint when and how they were going to choose to move about ascension. So everybody's ascension has that. I'm just getting these. Anybody that you see with disregarding comments, you can feel free to just knock them off. They're all going to be watched and marked down. And so everybody on that ascension pathway has their ability to look at their own shadow within, because those that play the darker role are aspects of the shadow within. And getting used to having that availability to work with your shadow, work with your triggers every day, call them in and do your ascension path work. That is what we've called by ascension path work, is your connection and your alignment, which is everything that is consciousness. You cannot connect to a higher level of who you are. You cannot connect with a higher self if you're not paying attention to intending, directing, and focusing connection and relationship, which is all that is consciousness. It is going to be very evident over the next little while that we will be seeing either play out dependent on your consciousness, because everybody's at a different pacing and temperament of their consciousness. Some do a lot of seeking and ingathering of consciousness. They do a lot of meditation time. They're constantly in contact with their guides and their spirit. They're constantly in direction of what their inner realm is showing them and telling them and speaking to them. That is the spirit of the higher self, the Mother, Father, God within you. And learning to entrain yourself that you are the Mother, Father, God. Hello, gorgeous goddess. Hello, gorgeous goddess. So glad you joined us. And so in that higher harmonization, we get to see ourselves as all as source creator. We are source creator, becoming more source creator. That's the holographic memory, if you will, that's showing itself back to us. But because humanity, this is the first time that humanity has been at the 5D and higher gateway, if you will, and we've cleared a lot of our karma. We've cleared the Atlantean timelines, Lemurian timelines. We've done a lot of alchemizing. So that means in this new 5D gateway, it's entirely new. We're opening up an entirely new consciousness. Now remember, consciousness is so important to understand, because it's a very, one of the most challenging things that a light worker and a teacher and a healer has is being in the state of consciousness that you are, and just being absolutely okay with you doing what is right for you, you following your own path, standing in your own power, standing in your own light, and directing your own path, breaking free of all conformity, church and state, 3D. The hardest thing that most people that are not awake or at the lower consciousness levels are, they don't really understand what consciousness is really all about. And I'll give you a few reasons why, because those of you that are teachers and healers can kind of take yourself to a new level on your own. Consciousness is truly about the connection of who you are within the breath that is all source. The more that you harmonize as source, knowing yourself as source, knowing yourself as unconditional love, knowing yourself as forgiveness, all of those things are the encompassment that is higher consciousness. Higher consciousness is the harmonization, relationship, and connection with Source Creator. It's in all things, it's in all life. Every dimension you move to, there's infinite number of opportunities to expand, explore, and experience yourself as source within the bandwidth. The higher consciousness you have, the more there is to expand, because you have that connection with your higher self. That higher self is behind and on the side of the veil, if you will, that isn't so physical. There's aspects of us that is godly to reach all dimensions, all realms, all planets. We have access to all that we are through our higher self. That higher self is the direct link, if you will, of our godliness. It is the highest level of our sourceness that has our links to anywhere and anyhow throughout the entire multiverse. That is our godliness. And it is, everybody has a higher self. Everybody has that connection. But if you're not practiced in it because of, again, ideologies, belief systems, dark occult practices that had you separate from and praying to others that were outside of you. Again, it depends on the psyche experiences and the traumas of the psyche, your lineage, your dogmatic training, and your dogmatic doctrine, how you were separate from yourself as experience of source. All of those things make up the psyche experience, meaning that if it is a very negative or traumatic one, that's part of that psyche experience that in your 51% of healing your 3D karma, you have to call those aspects in and say, why did I believe that was so? It doesn't necessarily matter how you got that belief, but that you can look at the belief quite neutrally, and then you can do your infinity and do the negative and the neutral and the positive, and then work through your ascension pathwork on that belief that keeps you stuck or stagnant in the lower vibrations of consciousness. You have to do the alchemy. Why? Because those that are sitting in, remember, low, medium, and high sets of consciousness, which we will all see in the next 6 months, because part of this reading today, part of our offering today is 2025, the blueprints for consciousness changes, for humanity changes. So there's a lot of great, exciting things we're going to talk about. It's kind of out there. So we wanted to give you a little bit of a preamble. Part of the lower vibrational consciousness, because of their separation experience, and again, some of what I'm saying in all of these three categories, low, medium, and high, has everything to do with the DNA allocation. When they're sitting and operating in a very low vibrational DNA allocation, means they haven't activated a lot of their DNA because their chakras are blocked and closed. Everything that we talk about is multidimensional. It is a multidimensional healing systems and the Christic system of who we are as Mother, Father, God, Metatronic Light. And if you're not used to working with yourself as multidimensional vibrational beings, then you're not going to have care or desire to work with your chakras. You're not going to understand what light means and why that is. Your consciousness level is very low because you've allowed yourself to be shut off and closed off to who you truly are, what you exist within, and what exists within you. So at each stage of consciousness, there's going to be various, which is so exciting. It opens up new opportunities. Every level of consciousness that we are all at is going to afford the blueprint for every one of those levels to expand into its fullest, because they're just like bandwidths. There's a very low vibrational bandwidth of 3D, and we find that is where the Epstein agendas are, dark occult experiences, trafficking, all of those portals that give your power away and live in those hate experiences and those degradation experiences, control, power, and fear. Domination and discrimination, those are those very low vibrational experiences. And if you're operating in those very low vibrational experiences, there is no working with the multidimensional bodies. The multidimensional bodies, yes, are there. Your higher self, yes, is there. Depending on how much you've done, what damage you've done to yourself and your soul's timeline, will dictate what guides you have working with you, what support you have working with you, or if you're just kind of on your own in the lower realms of just exploring the lower realms of darkness. And there's no judgment, because everybody has their own contracts on what they're meant to explore. Because again, their DNA might be at that allocation where they have to experience a lot of darkness, because their next timeline might be something where, we don't know, because that's up to God and that soul, right? But there is no judgment on where anybody sits. But we're seeing these things kind of unfold in the next 6 months. But I'm just giving you the excitement that we want you to get away from defining, if you will, but we want to give you the excitement in that definition, because we have to understand that everybody is going to be seen and to know and to feel very, very prominently. And we're starting to feel it right now, that we're starting to see and feel the very differences in consciousness levels that we walk with. But it's going to be more pronounced, and God will, Source, Creator, and Spirit will, especially those that will be on the front line of new human creations, are going to be very, very specific with this, with the salad, if you will, of where the salad and what dressings and what goes in our salad. We'll be more and more specific from here on out for those that have done the pathwork, for those that are teachers, healers, and leaders for the collective. Because it's going to be very important. It's not that you have to be in isolation, no, but you will have to be in isolation a little bit more because you're going to have to keep refining your vibration, to keep reaching up higher and higher because, and this isn't always going to be the case, but just for this first little while, because there is still such a mishmash of energies on the planet. And it's going to be very helpful for you to keep refining who you are and pulsating those equal energies so that you can find those equal energies to come back to you and then play and engage and co-entangle with you. Because we always need that co-entanglement synergy of others to play with us in our equal vibrations as much as possible, because that expands that vibrational bandwidth. And then the middle bandwidth is going to have its explorations and contractions and expansions, and the lower will have it as well. Now, there is always, because we're in a multi-vibrational, multiverse ascension, there will be the pulling out of the very lowest realms, because it has to go back up into the toroidal. And it's only up to God and that soul of those realms and those deities or those energies that couldn't go any farther in their consciousness. And they chose through their own free will to stay at the lower vibrational experiences. And that is between source and creator. And as we've always said before, it is always the free will of the soul, how they move out, why they move out, and what is coming next for them in their timeline. That's only up to them and God. It's based on how much they're able to clear. If there is no work being done within themselves to understand who they are, what they exist with, and what's going on within them, to reconnect and reunify with Source Creator, once you have that alchemy and you understand that, yes, I'm a part of Source Creator, I can absolutely start creating my reality, that's when you start really getting in tune with I'm an alchemizer. And that's where we're giving you the tips, the hints, and the skills, and all that we teach is you to be a self-designing experiencer, a sovereign experiencer. So no matter what you're moving into and what you've manifested, you can alchemize it and then move yourself into higher co-creations of Source, because it is the holographic experience. You're a part of Source, and Source itself is moving itself back in and of a Source. Source Creator is alchemizing everything as we're choosing to alchemize a Source. That's why if you're moving through very challenging tower-like times, the more that you work within yourself and reunifying yourself with Source Creator, with Mother, Father, God, the more that you'll be able to have that mastery of doing your own alchemy. And you'll get higher, you'll become higher in consciousness to what I'm talking about, because everything is multidimensional. From here on out, everything's multidimensional. From here on out, everything is spiritual. Everything is light. It's just a matter of, is it higher in vibrational light? It's becoming more and more transparent. And that is why when you live in truth, when you live in your honesty, speaking your truth, speaking your clarity, then you become higher and higher light. Everything that is not light will simply stand out and it will show itself. So that's why I've always said that life will be its proof. Because there will be those that will continue to stand in their light because it's just who they have become and it's their natural center point now. Truth is my center point because I've practiced it so much. Source and spirit and your guides, those that will be teachers, healers, and leaders, you will have many initiations only through your guides, only through Mother, Father, God. That's who your initiation should only be by and with. You'll have many initiations on continuing to stand in your power and to stand in your truth. Your truths are going to change as you ascend. Your truths are going to change as you expand and explore. Your truths are going to change as you become higher in consciousness. So, but there's things that you're not going to waver on, and those are the things that you know you've come from, that 51% of those karmic stories we've all learned, and how you know how it's worked for you, not worked for you, how it helped you, how it hurt you, all of those things that you're learning to be the master of in the 4D realm experience, mastering your emotions, mastering how you feel, mastering your intuitiveness, all of those things are absolutely necessary, and why you can never rush your ascension path. No two people are on the same ascension path. No two people have the same temperament and pacing. No two people are ever going to go through the same types of themes and stories and things they're meant to move through in their own unique exploration of who they are as Source. So that's why, again, you only need to focus on what's going on within you and focusing on your path of ascension. Because, again, you just can't, there's nothing as a competition. And those that believe and they behave in competition ways, they don't understand anything about self-actual. They don't understand anything about consciousness. They don't understand anything about soul blueprints. They're at a very low consciousness. So let them be where they are. Just know that from here on out, and as you become more expanded as Source, there is no competition. because every soul fragment, every soul aspect, every human on earth has a unique soul blueprint. They come with unique soul experiences. They come with their unique agendas and goals as to what they're here to transmute and learn. And it will always be about healing the ego, healing the shadow, so that you become a completely harmonized being and then balanced in your divine feminine masculine energies. And that is alchemy. You have to learn and understand alchemy. And so we teach you how to do this on this channel because it's just source returning back to source. So we want you to be masters of it. The 4D realm is about mastering who you are as this multidimensional being so that you can, in 5D, when you're manifesting from thought, you're manifesting from higher vibrational thought. You're not manifesting from wounds and hate and revenge and competition and all of those things that are low vibrational. That's why there is a very specific path to ascension. It is a very beautiful and sacred path. Some of us that have been on the path for so very long, we've been masters. We're here again for humanity, and we've had many lifetimes here. We're here to show this very beautiful sacred path and not to rush through it. Take your time getting to know yourself as source again. Release yourself from all the limitations and discriminations from the lower box doors that you believed in, that you gave your power to, that you allowed yourself to be abused from, and then rework your alchemy in every moment and every day. That allows you that reconnection, and that is the consciousness with all that you are as source. Consciousness is directly related to, and this is why I've talked about in all of my books and I've said it on most of my radio shows, you earn your consciousness through that daily path work, because that is your reflection, that's your integration, that's your processing of who you are within creation. What's really going on within you? Can you modify your emotions? Can you modify how you feel about that? Can you see it from a different perspective? Are you allowing yourself to forgive yourself? Are you allowing yourself to release judgment? All of those things is what the inner path work is all about. And you become a higher vibrational master when you're actually doing the path work. That is when you're communicating 24/7, and that connection and relationship is with spirit, it's with source. It's all of the higher beings above you in all the higher dimensions, all the way up to 13, plus all of the nature beings, plus all the galactic, celestial, cosmic, alien beings, plus all the vibrations of Gaia that you're moving through and traversing on one ascension path. Remember, you're experiencing many Gaias. She's going through her ascension just as you're going through your ascension. The collective ascension, the collective ascension heart is changing very rapidly, which I'm going to give you some predictions for the next little while, because the collective is moving in a very quick response to its level of consciousness. There's people that have come with already a very deep consciousness, but they haven't really activated it. So they might be somewhere in the middle to the high consciousness, depending on their own inner work. Remember, God will always meet you equal measure. Get in the elevator, push the button, but you have to be the one that pushes the button, and you have to do the work. Because as we're saying before, that higher consciousness state that some of us are sitting at right now, we're entering into 5D, we're helping everybody come up the way. We're the way shores and helping everyone learn how to really enjoy and get excited about everything that is consciousness. Consciousness is the infinite harmonization of Source Creator. So there's infinite possibilities of the 3 E's becoming the 4th E, which is evolution. The 3 A's becoming the 4th A, which is alchemy. You're going to have infinite opportunities to do that contraction and expansion within every bandwidth, no matter where you're at, no matter what's in front of you. Now, again, because it's always free will, the first universal law, right, use of free will, non-interference, it's always up to everybody else of where they're at, where they choose to stay at, where they choose to move through, where they choose to raise to, or where they choose to just sit where they are. It's not up to anybody to direct or dictate where anybody should be. So that's where, again, you're not going to gain karma negatively if you stay in those laws of the universal frequencies and just focus on your own alchemy. You have so much to do and you have so much to learn. And why anybody would pay attention to anybody else's path is beyond me, because there's so much for you to do within your own self and within the own navigation and excavation. Why would you want to pay attention to what anybody else is doing? You're going to be really throwing yourself into a lot of chaos, a lot of imbalance. And again, that's where life will be its proof, because the ones that are on the lower vibrations, they don't want to go within and do the work. And so they keep looking to outer people to find the copy, to kind of find the Cole's notes. And you can't. You have to do the inner path work, because everybody's unique pathwork and the way that they're going to be navigated with their teams. As I said many times, sometimes your teams will take you on a detour. If you're not doing that inner pathwork, you're not going to know why the detour was. Like when I went back to, those lower vibrational universal realms, for about 6 years, it wasn't fun. I would never wish it on anyone. I would never do it again. But there was reasons why I had to go back and do those things, because I left a lot of Christ consciousness light. I learned so much. I would never take it back. I'm getting there now because it was so much consciousness that I'm just learning right now to soften into and allow those downloads to come forward. You can't allow really the downloads of the capacity and the aptitude to come forward if you're always in a stressed anxiety mode, and which I'm coming out of now because Spirit's moving me into a new dimensional frequency. I've got new dimensional tribe around me. I know that all the past timelines are closed and now released. So I'm moving into a much higher vibration. So all of those things that I've been doing for all of the eons I've been here, over 900 timelines, I'm harmonizing, I'm amalgamating all of those 900 timelines. So now the softer and more open I am, as we talked about before, the softer and more open I am, more allowing I am of unconditional trust with Source, I allow that intimacy to become that really soft bedding, the salad, the bowl, if you will. That salad bowl is intimacy. It's where everything that I am can sit. My teams and my guides, because of my work with my teams and my guides, my connection and my relationship with them, I'm telling them what I need, and they know obviously what I need before I say it, but it is my path and I'm directing it. I am sovereign, and I get to say I would like these, and these to be in this salad bowl with me. I want to have certain things in my salad bowl. I want to communicate and I want to co-create with things in my salad, but there's only certain types of dressings that I want. And I call the dressings those things vibrationally that are not yet in form, those things vibrationally that play with you in the field, like those on lower realms that are vibrations that keep pulling on you. You can have those taken out of your salad dressing. You can say, I don't want that in my salad. It's very disruptive. It's distractive. It's keep pulling my energy down. You can only know that if you've been doing the path work, because you get to feel things, especially if you are going to practice and enhance and create a vocation around where people will actually pay you for your gifts and skills and talents, your psychic abilities and how you are as a conduit or an empath or a healer. Those of us that are highly, highly sensitive, you can feel when somebody's pulling on your energy, and when they've been told to release you, they've been told to let you go, and they keep pulling on your energy. Those are those things of the salad dressing that you can tell your teams, this needs to go, that needs to go, that needs to go. I've done my clearing. I've done my making peace with it. I've forgiven everybody. I've done my work. Can you please take those out of my salad, or sandwich, if you will? And so those are the things that will help refine your frequency, because again, Spirit wants you really soft and loving and receiving. Many of us have been so much in our divine masculine roles because we've had to kind of fight for our voice and fight for our rights. We have never been seen as equal. We haven't really had our energies or our stories out there. We have to fight 10 times as hard for the divine feminine's frequency of experience to be seen, heard, or known. So there's a lot of things that we're now able to say, okay, well, I don't need to keep pushing that story anymore. I just am who I am, and I don't have to validate or prove anything. And then you just soften within that divine feminine receivership mode. That receivership mode, again, activates the second chakra, which is, again, your intimacy. You want to be really soft in that bowl so that every part of the salad can mix and mingle and create new synergy. That new synergy, again, is going to be that omnipresent substrates in the substrates and the constructs of the heightened vibrations that we've been seeing, of course, on the Schumann resonance. Everything is rising in its frequency, so there's going to be things that will be affected that we didn't even think about, that'll just be like, wow, things are happening so fast now. You put a loving excitement and a loving, intention out to the universe, and a couple of days later, there it is. So that's part of the salad and all of these things that are changing. And you get to choose what you want in your salad. You get to choose the dressing, which are those little energies that are not necessarily in your local reality, because sometimes that you're in a different vibration. For instance, me, I'm in a different vibration. I'm in a different timeline. I'm in a different dimension than those that I just left in the lower vibrational energies on that realm where they were doing dark occult practices and still doing magic on me daily. And they were still abusing my energy. They were abusing all spiritual laws. They were abusing everything that Spirit had told them to. They were basically doing the exact opposite of what Spirit was guiding, that I was showing in my videos, that other people were telling them to, stay out of people's energy, stay out of people's lanes, stop doing spell work, all that stuff, right? So now they're going to be sitting in their karma. They're going to be sitting in their karmic mess because they have to face what they've created. They have to face what they've done. That's the only way for those particular beings to learn the lesson of karma, right? So, but they're in a different vibration than I am. So they're not physically in my experience, and they won't be, because Spirit's going to make sure that my dimensional frequency will maintain as high as vibration that I can, because I should have been moved on teaching and keeping up with the sustainment of higher vibrational consciousness so that it can be anchored to the grids, so that it can be shared with the collective. And so that's what a conduit does. We can read and integrate and process very higher vibrational, high functioning experiences within the corpus. Cerebral cortex is a lot of that, where that occurs, is higher processing experiences at a multidimensional frequency, because 3D knowledge is not 5D knowledge. 5D knowledge is the wisdoms of light, and it's a multidimensional experience. You've got to unpack it. So again, if you're not unpacking it, the capacity and aptitudes, go back to our videos on capacity and aptitude. We talk about what that is and how come it's so important, because now we're at that 5D point now. We're going to be getting all these downloads. And if you haven't been practicing capacity and aptitude to expand your consciousness, to expand your consciousness with Source Creator, those high coded downloads aren't going to make any sense to you. That's why we will see the lower, the medium, and the high. And again, there's going to be infinite opportunities for the lower, medium, and high. So that's what we want to really get excited about, because no matter where you are in your consciousness path, you can start something that on your level and really start to create that unity, connection, and relationship at your level. If you so choose, it's always free will. Know that you're going to gain in positive karma and expansion for your soul if you choose to work with the ascension path, because we are always ascending. We're always evolving. That will never change. It will never stop. We're never going backwards. So just know that. And if you just refuse to see things as change and you still want to maintain old world beliefs and old world experiences, you will stay in those lower realms, and those will be shifted off. I say shifted off only from the perspective where I sit, and from where the people that have chosen consciously to go ahead on the path of ascension. Those that choose not to go on ascension, those that choose to reduce themselves and to stay in lower vibrational experiences and not work on themselves and not love themselves and not heal themselves, that is up to God and those beings and those souls and those energies. And they are getting shifted out more and more every day, because as I said, the path of ascension and the beings that are choosing to work with excitement and joy to be their highest vibrational light, we're not going to be affected any longer. There is an absolute protection order on all the light workers, because we should have already been moved beyond where we are right now. But there's been just so many games trying to keep humanity, proclaimed in an Epstein-like direction, and that's not our destiny. Our destiny is not to be on Epstein Earth where it will become extinct. We will be evolving and understanding the importance of divine feminine masculine energies. We will be evolving beyond the box store religions of where we boxed God in and ourselves, how we erased divine feminine. We're evolving beyond all of the 3D lessons we've learned of that 51% of karma. Then in that neutral state, we get to say, okay, there's much for us to do and learn. And as I've always said before, if you are truly wanting to be a master and to help others and to be a teacher, really take your time on every phase of the journey that you're at, because that's where you get the juice of the sandwich, right? There's nobody that knows what I know. I know that for a fact on the planet. There's nobody that knows what I know. Because I was very purposeful of my ascension pathwork every day. And Spirit takes me because I'm at a level, it's just because of the gifts and skills that I have. Everybody has different gifts and skills, but I've earned them. I've been here over 900 times. So I've earned my gifts and skills. And I've gone through my initiations with Mother, Father, God, and all of my teams. How I'm able to see and feel energy, it's easy and it's enjoyable and it's honoring for me to sit and do the work. I mean, I get, 12 pages later that I just love doing the work. I love doing the inner ascension pathwork. I love the connection and expansion of wisdom in any bandwidth of any experience. So I'll go in, I'll say, in that one experience, in this one crystalline experience right there, in that one crystalline experience, how can I look at it from as many directions and as many perspectives as I can? Divine feminine perspective, divine masculine perspective, and then you can go through your chakras if you want to. You can go through it from an intimacy point of view. You can look at it from a lower vibrational point of view, so that you can see how, if you were going to do a class for the lower realm, how could you teach the lower realm? What would they need from you? You can look at it from an infinite perspective. That is doing the work. That's the sandwich. And you can only say that you do that, and that is what you can only claim. As my teams and guides told me many, many years ago, nobody outside of you has any clue of the inner work that I've done. Nobody. Nobody has an even ounce. They could never even gather. They couldn't even, the only people that know the work that I've done is Mother, Father, God, and all of my teams. Nobody has any clue. Nobody has an ounce of clue. Somebody on a really low vibration has no knowledge on any level of who I am. So how would they ever be able to dictate who I am and what I am and my health and my, where I resonate in a mental, physical, emotional capacity? Nobody has any idea. And this is why we're going to be breaking free of a lot of the 3D definitions and ideologies of how we thought and how we defined things and how we prescribed things. It's just so archaic. It's not who we are as multi-vibrational beings. I hope my eyes look today. And so here's the consciousness. We wanted to just bring a little bit of a blueprint. 2025 blueprint, consciousness blueprint, and how that's going to change and how we're going to offer really great inspirations to humanity. Things we can see coming and things we can see changing. And I wanted to give just a quick little channeled information and channel wisdoms on the corpus callosum. No, not corpus callosum, cerebral cortex, and how that does affect your consciousness. We have to understand the brain a little bit better, and understanding consciousness is how we harmonize and create those really expansive thoughts that create new synapses, that create new higher vibrational enmeshment with our higher self, because we want to have the highest perspective of thought conscious. We want to keep reaching up with our thoughts, keep reaching up with our pondering. And one of my clients that are on the line sent me a beautiful email this morning about the pondering and the I called it going there, that some people, in, again, the lower realms, because they're having fun exploring the darkness and the shadow. And so that's where they're at right now. And then when you come out of it and you say, okay, I've had enough of being thrown around and beaten across the wall here. I really, I'm not interested in going to jail, and I'm not interested in having a diseased body. So let's just start working on myself, and let's start doing the inner path work. And so she was sending me these beautiful explorations of her going there, and how beautiful that is, of the sandwich that she's creating within that exploration of topics that she wanted to dive a little bit more deeply into. And it's directly related to, again, your soul's blueprint. We always want to take you back to the soul's blueprint, because that's who you are within the sacred Trinity, with Mother, Father, Spirit, and your soul's blueprint, why you're here, to evolve beyond what has been. And it's also to pull your gifts and skills and talents from all the other timelines, so that you can now anchor it in a 5D perspective to help and give it forward to all of the collective and new vibrational ways that equally match. Remember, we got to remember, this is so important, to equally match the sacred child within. Because 5D creating is manifesting from the sacred child, the joy factor. We're manifesting from joy from here on out. That's why everything from here on out is spiritual. We want to manifest from this beautiful, abundant space of heart, mind, body, and soul, your solar plexus operating in complete union with your heart space. Right? You're going to go forward with the excitement and the creativity. You're going to go forward with the creativity of who you are, and you're directing your energy with love and self-love and self-sovereignty and self-design. And it's so easy to let go of all those energies that were continuing to pull on you, and then having your guides help you with what you want in your salad or your sandwich and what you don't. Because it is very important for you to continue refinement of your vibrational field, so that you can, again, move up in your experience of consciousness. And when I say move up, you become lighter in your energy, because you become faster oscillating as light. The cells operate faster because your cells are integrating greater light, just as you are capacity and integration of higher capacity, wisdoms and intelligence. That is all light. So today we're talking about unifying planet Earth, the big picture look, the blueprint and breakthrough for new systems. But we first wanted to give some predictions, just some little predictions that were coming up in my feed. When I say feed, it's the guides. What's in my funnel today, Spirit? So this is really exciting, which is really great for me. It's a good for me moment. We're going to find in the next little while, and it's going to start off really quickly, and we're going to be surprised by a couple of things. We're going to enter into, I called it, this is how the energy came back to me as the times of Alexandria, the new scholarly times, where those that are really awakening quickly and finding it a bigger, more exciting dive into the consciousness within. And that allows us to come up with, again, pulling up the old aspects of who we were in other dimensions, other realms, other timelines, like philosophers or scholars or scribes, and all of these things that allow us to be very confident in becoming a new version of who we are. Many people have asked me throughout the many years of my ascension, how do I know bits and pieces of a lot of little things? And that is directly because of, again, the ascension pathwork that I teach and I offer everyone, is because the more harmony that I am and the more accepting and self-loving of just being the beautiful version of who I am, those gifts and those skills and those talents are just that synergistic flow that Source is always showing you have access to. So the more that you're accepting all of the shadow aspects, you have equal opportunity in the full comprehension. Remember, comprehending yourself as Source Creator, which is what we said in our last video. Comprehending yourself, who are you, what is what's going on within you as Source Creator. So you just sitting down and just having one topic that you wanted to write on, and then just see how much you can download from what you know about any topic. So this is what we're saying, try and practice these gifts. Because you know a lot more than you think you do. You think you have in your knowledge system, because this is how we've been taught, brought up and told and shown and sold, is that we know things by going to a school and going to things and then reading books and then doing this and doing that. It's a doing thing. But no, we have so much wisdoms within us that we just haven't allowed ourselves to know that, yes, we can just download it. We just got to open to our higher self. Because you've already been those things. You already are those things in other dimensions, other realms, other planets, other timelines. You just have to harmonize yourself, know that you are that you are. As you perceive yourself, so too it is. So it is, again, you're allowing yourself to become more in minutia with Source Creator. That is the return to Source to Source. And again, there's those lower, middle, and high ranges as to, you'll see the variations of very closed off, I'm getting there, and those are the teachers, leaders, and healers that God will be placing in the positions and God will be lifting up. Because we've been through so many different timelines, we've taken our time, we've done the minutia, we've gone back sometimes on these detours, and we've gone through very karmic experiences because we wanted to help out or lead or do certain things. And then there will be those times where Spirit will say, no, you've gone back and done enough there. We have to move you on to higher vibrational things, which is where I'm at right now, because there's been too much playing around. There's been too much abuse. There's been too much stealing and warping of my energy, stealing of my energy. I mean, it was just overkill. They took advantage of God's grace and my grace. And so Spirit, they've done nothing to make anything right. They've done nothing to show Spirit that they're wanting to be a part of, a benevolent outcome. They're all still playing the game of attacking and scheming and trying to plot against me. They're still doing the daily plots to see how they can bring me down and take me down and blame me for their crimes and the deflections and all of the horrible things that were done to me. Not only did I have to survive it, but I have to speak and fight my voice because of their false claims and their false projections. And this also has to the affiliation of the governments and the secret societies. They're all kind of, working in tandem to kind of make their stories fit, because they're benefiting from humanity being in control. But as you're going to see, God's going to be moving things very swiftly and maneuvering things all over the place. God and what's happening behind the scenes energetically, things are being shifted and moved really quickly. So there's going to be people there one day and not there the next day. I'm going to be in their reality and they're not going to be able to find my vibration, because we are moving forward with Ascension. There's so many new timelines and new opportunities opening up. We will not be playing karmic stories out any longer. There will not be the games of dark occult schemes and plots and plans, so that we keep playing these low vibrational karmic stories of mess and narcissistic going nowhere, cycles. And so just as we're on that, before we get, I've already moved into a new timeline. As I was saying at the very beginning of the video, I was so very excited because my energies are really lightening up as I've let go of those old timelines. I've closed off all the old timelines from the past. Those timelines are all closed off. Everybody from the past knows there is no new opportunity for any new cycle on any level. Again, as all of our videos have said, and all of our blog posts have said, everything has been said 8 jillion billion times. All of the experiences from the past will be continually closed out. Cords are severed, ties are severed. All of those things are being cleaned up and pulled out. The stories have been played out to its nth degree. It's been overkill, abuse. Everybody knows what they've stolen. Everybody knows what has been done. And it's up to Source Creator just to keep moving forward. Never go back, never go back, never go back. which is my motto right now, is never going back. I'm never going back to old cycles. I'm never going to allow old people into new cycles. There is no compatibility vibrationally. Everybody knows in reading my YouTube page, the corruptions that were done through YouTube, the corruptions that were done through the last 15, 20 years. And so I have my right to speak about my story. I'm very lucky that I survived. Spirit did have to pull me back 4 times because I just didn't want to go through with the continued abuse, the continued ganging, and the bullying of group dark occult magic and the various things that were done at so many different levels. You know, ganging up to do root work and voodoo work and all of those things, and having the people lie to your face saying they didn't steal from you, and still trying to find more ways to steal from you, still trying to find more ways to harvest from your light because they were able to hide and think that that they were you in your light and you in your energy, elite soul harvesting. So there'll be more and more coming out as, again, life will be its proof, and all the energies that people sit within, all the things that people have done, their deeds, their experiences, their lies, their deceits, or their truths, everything will be seen because that's the energy we will be sitting in. There will be blatant and obvious showing of life itself. So I'm very happy about that. I should not have survived what I went through. I look back now and it's becoming, now that because I'm moving into a higher frequency, the veils are coming off a little bit more, and to see the depths of what was done, I still have to heal every day because it's a level of hate and it's a level of jealousy and envy that I don't understand. I don't understand why people would plot and plan on somebody's life for money. It's just a concept I don't get. I don't understand. It's been a very challenging experience for me to be, hybrid, high functioning, to see what I see as a visionary, as a prophet, as a seer. Part of my experience and my life experience was to bring greater tangibility multidimensionally for Source Creator, to be that conduit for Source Creator on the horrible experiences of trafficking. And that trafficking experience is the disconnect from who we are as spirit, not connecting that harmony with spirit, not connecting the love, sacredness of spirit, that we ended up selling ourselves and trading ourselves in various ways that ended up manifesting in the black web and the underground and trafficking. And then there were those beings that wanted to play those roles out in the dark energies and the shadow energies. They wanted to play the aggressor. They wanted to play the dominator. They wanted to play the controller, because on other timelines and because of the no DNA activation, that's where their DNA sat, was the controller, was the dominator or the oppressor. So they all play their roles. Everybody plays their roles. But because of the mental viruses and because of where their energy sits, which we wanted to talk about as well, there were so many mental viruses of being the oppressor, of being the dominator, and a plus that it was compensated and then empowered and overridden quite blatantly, quite corruptively in the systems and the dogma and the church and the church and the state. The systems were all corrupt. The people in the systems were corrupt. People running the countries are corrupt. So it was just kept, it kept giving to itself. It was just like a big virus. 3D matrix is a big virus, and there will be bits and pieces that would be pulled out because those will choose not to buy into the corruption and the Epstein direction that it's going. The leaders and the systems itself and the church and state will come to an awakening point, which is part of my predictions, that they will absolutely see that what they have been creating, what they have been doctrinating, what they have been paying and going into the affiliations, not all but some, paying secret societies for systematic abuse to those of us that speak higher code, because their consciousness doesn't get it, doesn't mean we're wrong. It just means that your consciousness is very low. You can't understand higher consciousness if you're in a very low vibrational state and you don't have any idea about your chakras. You don't have any idea what God truly is besides a Bible. There's a lot of disconnect. There's so much disconnection in the lower realms. But there also are catalysts to learn all that we can about the psyche when it's wounded and when it's taken out of its uniqueness with Source. The uniqueness of expression with Source is so very important, and that's why we talked about intimacy, because healing that intimacy experience is a part 100% of healing multidimensionally to reach the highest state of consciousness. And so I wouldn't have the consciousness if I didn't go back all those detours, if I didn't have the the multidimensional traumas and people throwing magic and spells at me every day. I wouldn't have been able to earn the consciousness I have to heal my body, to call in the teams and the guides, to remember all my gifts and skills from other timelines. It's been a multidimensional experience that has assisted me. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Spirit did show me and speak with me recently that I was used as part of a sacrificial lamb, if you will, for the collective, so that the part of the trafficking and abuse to humanity and the erase, it was a trifold experience, my sacrifice, on many different levels. And we can look at it in a comparison parallel timeline to Jesus's discrimination, much more advanced on my behalf of the abuse because there was technology involved and billions more people involved than it was at the time of Jesus, where there was no technology and there was no knowledge at that time. There wasn't no experimenting of the dark occult through Atlantis and Lemurian, yes, but not at the time where Jesus, we're talking about that timeline with Jesus of discrimination. And so I had to learn about all that because the worlds that we're going to be in is about refining the technology that we have to be more aligned with Christ consciousness, to be more aligned with who we are, Source Creator, so that our technology works for us and doesn't operate in the lower, middle, and higher realms, if you will, the lower realms where it was technology warfare and a lot of the things that were done through technology and a lot of the manipulations and illusions through technology that we just give power to and we give our energy to, but it's not really true. Is it really true? What is the truth of that you're seeing and you're working with? And then in the higher consciousness state, we can use that technology to really benefit us and really propel us in a way that is more harmonizing with Source Creator and our collective. So that's where we're getting to. That's going to be a prediction for the technology part of it, because technology is an aspect of our consciousness. And so if we're using that just as we will in our future with lightship is a technology that is directly linked and harmonized with our consciousness. And so we'll be able to move, zipping in and out of everywhere that we've talked about many times on our shows before. When I talk to you about my lightship experiences, I have always very fascinated at how fast they zip across the sky, but she tells me that from your dimensional perspective, it seems really fast, but from their dimensional perspective, it's just like they're walking across the street. So we have to understand that the level of consciousness one sits at will determine the perspective that they see and feel and experience. That's why we want to get you a little bit more expanded on what really is consciousness. How can we dive more deeply within the soup, the juice, the salad, and the sandwich of the consciousness? What is in the consciousness for us to really get our teeth wet in all the levels, whether you're low, middle, or high? And we're only saying that is because we're just going to see the variances of consciousness levels in the collective. And we're already seeing things kind of pull out as to the things that are super, super low. You get to decide how and what you want to play with it, as I've given you experiences of my life experience through the trafficking, the selling of my name, bidding of my name, attacking of my name, attacking of my energy. I mean, everything that was done could be done. And again, I was a sacrificial lamb so that I could show the variances of abuses and how to heal through the variances of abuses on a multidimensional collective level. So I understand it. Again, I wouldn't wish it on anybody because, again, how I am interfaced with Source, it's very, I feel all the threads. I feel all the threads, I feel all the threads of a multidimensional attack. I feel the threads and the pain of somebody that says, the groups that plot and plan your abuses, that plot and plan your abuses. To me, it's like people actually do that. So it's like, what the hell? But those, again, are going to be people that will be shifting out because we're not going to be allowing ourselves to be in the face of those that just want to hate. And then learning your mastery around it. How are you expanding and contracting in who you are as spirit? How are you contracting and expanding in the beauty of who you are? And you get to sit in your space, and no matter what's being thrown at you, you just get to send it back and say, does that make you feel good? And doesn't your hate get a little bit boring? To think that you're all secret and you're all spying on somebody when you're seen in blatant daylight. But this is the game these people play. There's people over there in a car that think that I don't see them, and they're being little playful ignorance. They're the ones that are sent from the cults. to spy. They're sent from the cults to spy on me. That's why their comment was just there. Thank you, Scotty and Cluedo, for moving them off. So let's see. Just say yes. Would you like to come and smell them? Would you like to come and smell them? Little tiny immature people that think you're so hiding. Yeah, we're going to take a picture of their license plate. Actually, I already have a license plate. I already have a picture of that license plate over there. So as you're watching me, I already have a copy of your license plate number, dude. So another prediction that we have, more times in communion with the higher reaching regions of study. So that's what we wanted to say. There is new scholarly times where we're going to be seeing ourselves as we did back in the Alexandria times. We're going to become 5D philosophies. We're going to be understanding, as I've talked about before, higher vibrational psychiatry and psychology, so that we can contract and expand within that bubble of what that is, and really soak ourselves in and come up with higher vibrational ways of light education and light intelligence. So that's coming in 2025. It's going to be progressing really quite quickly. And this is where we're going to come up with new ways for ourselves to become more scholarly. Education, universities, groups, places like libraries and things like that. Thank you, Scotty. Yeah, just watch the comments on the line. There's people that obviously are continuing. They get paid to stalk me, and they get paid to be like little tiny bugs and insects where they just bug and they like to get up under your skin. And they think they're being all secretive, and they think they're being whatever they think they're being. Who knows? God, they get paid to hate and target and attack. But I've taken pictures of that car before, so they're in my stalking log. They must be so proud of themselves. You must be so proud to bully a light worker and a healer. You must be so very proud. Right there. Now you're on video, dude. Welcome to my day. And so what I wanted to also say too, I was really excited because I'm moving into a new frequency. I'm not looking back. The timelines are closed. All of these people that were paid by the secret societies and whoever these beings are, they are following the monies are being followed. The monies are being investigated as to where and how the monies were ordered for me to have all of the hits that were done against me, 500 rituals, 40 plus sacrifices, over $1 million spent to try and take me out. All of those monies and all of those experiences are being tracked and investigated. So all of these people will be found out. The people that get paid to sit in a parking lot over there and make stupid comments, all of them are being investigated and pulled out. And as I said, anybody that makes any attempts to come against me and to do what they do against me, they're all getting karma times 10. The legions and Mother, Father, God have said enough is enough. Everybody from the past, everybody from Calgary, they know what they've stolen, they know what they've done, they understand exactly their rules and their deeds. There will be no opening up, there will be no continuance, there will be no nothing. Everything from the past is closed, and it will stay closed. There will be no relationship on any level. Everything is closed, it's being burned by the violet flame. There will be no reopening with anybody from the past. They're not my friends, they're not my tribe, they're not my family. They've done everything they've done for money. They have very specific attacks and agendas for my life and for my light and for my gifts and my skills. And again, they're not getting it. They don't understand consciousness at any level. They don't believe in God. They don't care about God. They don't care about their soul. They don't care about their consciousness. They don't care about the timeline they're walking into. They don't care that by doing the things that they're doing in the parking lot and by being as ignorant as they are, that they've just manifested themselves a disease 5 years down the road. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't care. They're just so crass in their separation. They're so crass in their hate. All they care about is money. So let them sit in it. It will be closed out. It will be pulled out. And those that you continue to work on your consciousness, do your daily path work, and ask for support from the heavens to weed all of these people out that continually become a thorn in your side, because you have every right in the universe to live your highest and your best life. You're allowed to express yourself entirely who you are without the egregious, ignorant attacks from those that want to pretend like they're intimidating and bullying you. My God, the immaturity. But they want to play with karma that way, so let them. Spirit and the legions, the beings that are in the parking lot, please make sure that they get their karma for their constant pettiness. They've followed me around for a little while. Return their karma, return their intentions and their little magic spells and whatever they're doing. All the pictures they're taking of me. And so we're going to return to a scholarly time. We're going to have greater excitement to explore science in richer ways, breaking from the older traditions of how we thought science used to be, again, the scientific method. So we're going to reach in a new cosmic, because source is pure science, which I said in my post this week. Source is the purity of science, and in every dimension and every bandwidth of a dimension, math is going to be more highly refined and directed with source, so too is science. So in a higher vibrational dimension of math, you're going to have greater expansiveness of wisdoms and intelligences of math. Same too with science, philosophy, and all that, because you have a higher consciousness with Source Creator. You have a higher flow with Source Creator, higher synergy with Source Creator. So that means you're going to be having higher downloads of light, capacity, and aptitude. And why? Again, the cerebral cortex has to be modified. Everything within the brain has to be modified and enhanced so that you can download and integrate and process the higher vibrational codes and functionings that will occur as a multidimensional download. Because again, a 3D person stuck within a low vibrational 3D experience, the cult and the stalking and those very low vibrational beings that do those things, they're not going to understand a higher vibrational download. So even if you're talking with them, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get what you're saying to them, and they don't care anyway. So why they bother stalking you and following you when they're not getting what you're saying in any ways? It just doesn't make any sense. That's why there has to be the weeding out. The 5D download cannot be understood by a 3D mind that is stuck obsessing about somebody that is not them. They're all their focus is going outer, and they're not working on anything within them. They're not working on their wounds. They don't even understand a chakra system. They don't understand light because they're not working with God. They don't have any ounce of self-love. If you did have self-love, you wouldn't be stalking and following somebody. If you did have self-love, your higher self would never tell you, take money to go stalk somebody and spy on somebody. Secret covens and secret cults, if they were so godly and so righteous, they would never, ever, ever do a systematic abuse experience on anybody, because they understand that they're paving their way to hell. They will never move into the heavens doing what they're doing. And these people are spending millions to come and bother me and be a thorn in my side, and continuing with the spell work. Okay, so once you finish that, doesn't your hate get boring? Then what? You're just going to live the rest of your life in hate, and you're going to die early because your body's going to be full of disease because all you are is hate? And you're getting paid for all your little attacks and sitting in your car across from a parking lot from a teacher and a healer? So how does that make you feel? Let's do a healing session with the fellow that's in the car over there. Let's do a healing session. Why are you doing what you're doing? Because you're getting money and you get to sit around all day, spy and stalk on somebody. Okay, then what? What are you going to put on your resume? Or is this going to be the rest of your life? You're going to sit in a car and you're going to stalk and spy on people because your secret society is showing you to. Then what? You're going to watch people like me? Okay, then what? You're going to spy on people like me? Okay, then what? So how does that look on your resume when you're about 50 or 60 and all of your body is diseased inside because all you care about is money, and you know that that's not anything to do with your soul on any level, and there's no ounce of love in you because you're just being a thorn in somebody else's side, and you're making purposeful intentions to make yourself a thorn in somebody's side. So that means you're interfering against the number one law. Then what? Then what do you do with your life? Then who are you? You're still a stalker, you're still a spy, you're still a leech, you're still an insect that likes to bug and harm people, and you're getting paid for it. So what does that say about you? That's the story you're going to live with for the rest of your life, that your children will know and your children's children will know. And then what does that say about you? You're adding to creation by what? Silence. Okay, so you do have a soul blueprint with God. Why don't you go in and look at that? But it's easier getting paid by a satanic group. It's easier getting paid by the cult. It's easier getting paid by the dark minions that are driving you right to hell. You know that when you sign a contract and you take money from those that operate in such, you are such. So you're taking money from those that are paving your path to hell, and you're okay with that. Okay, good. Just letting you know that that's your path you're paving as a seer and as a predictor. But you keep going on taking your little pictures. We're going to find higher excitement to reach up into timely paths of new consciousness, because remember, as we're rising our consciousness, we're going to find more higher seeking with the higher cosmos, higher science philosophies, higher studies of higher consciousness and intellect with cosmic channelings as the primary source of energy. So this is what I saw as a vision. And what's going to be really surprising and how we're changing and how we're operating is the universities will be one of the first ones on board to offer higher vibrational light wisdoms. That's really exciting, because I know that they've seen a decrease in their registries year after year after year, because people are doing a lot of learning online now. There's so much flexibility in online learning. There's so much flexibility in university and college learning. But the universities will want to start pulling people back to the colleges and to the universities, because they're going to start introducing higher vibrational intelligent wisdom teachings. Because again, once you tap into the higher self and you have all of these brilliant masters and philosophers and seers and architectures of higher intelligence coming forward as teachers, there's going to be teachers in philosophy, there's going to be teachers in archaeology, there's going to be teachers in sonar archaeology. That's going to be a big one, where we're going to be studying the effects of sound on ancient sites and how it affects, because that's how the pyramids were actually built, is through the vibrational sounds and the consciousness that we work within on sound and vibration and matter. So that's going to be another big thing that we're going to be doing. And all of these really higher consciousness studies are going to be brought in first through the university. It's going to be really great. The universities really want to create excitement within the younger students, because the younger students are so much more adept at their harmonization with source. They have higher reach for higher consciousness studies, and there's going to be younger students awakening very quickly, because we're teaching them higher light codes. So those university classes will also include light language, and professors and teachers and lecturers like myself, where we're bringing codes of higher consciousness, Christ consciousness or Metatronic consciousness, to the students that are ready to move into higher vibrational multidimensional thought forms. 3D teachings and scholars are not multidimensional thought concepts. Multidimensional teachings and intelligences are very highly conceptual. So they're very vast in how we can make a multidimensional perspective look and feel from different avenues and perspectives. So that's going to be a bigger part of the learnings and the new philosophies and teachings that we're going to see. So I'm really excited about that. And so secondary to that is there's going to be a dimensional and a multidimensional cohesion that even to those that are asleep, they'll be awakening to know that there's something really going on, and it's beyond what they can put their finger on. And that's what really multidimensionality is to know that even though it's not seen, but you know that there is spirit that's speaking, there's spirit that's talking with us. There's always the symbolisms that are before us, the synchronicities that are before us. That's how you know that spirit's actually working with you, is because everything is synchronistic to your vibration. That's why those that operate in a very low vibration, they'll be manifesting low vibrational experiences. They can't get away from it because it's what they've manifested. They've intended, directed, and all of their focus is going towards their negativity. So that is what they will be focusing on. That's why many of them that are sitting in their karma right now, as they were told 6 years ago to stop, and they refuse not to, they're all sitting in the backfire, because as we said, that rubber band effect is now moving back to them, and their guides are not protecting them. They're not being protected in this whole scenario. Everybody that makes any actions towards me in any way, there is no protection for these beings. So they're returning everything back to them. It doesn't matter what voodoo doll or what spell or what sacrifice, it's all moving back towards them. And it will sit in their field until they learn how to do the alchemy. They cannot transmute it any other way. They can't send it to somebody. They can't dump it to somebody, especially those that had been destiny swapping. They will never have another ability. Their abilities are all being turned off. So they won't have an ability to cloak. They won't have an ability to send spells. They won't have an ability to monitor spirits. They won't have an ability to do those things. They send people that sit in cars, but they're not having the gifts. And those people that sit in cars, they're manifesting their karma. They're manifesting their karma. As we just heard the sirens, synchronicities. So again, you have to look at yourself and say, is that really what I want to manifest? Do you really want to manifest being a part of a satanic cult coven that wants to take out an innocent healer? I mean, it's your story. Awakening the unseen. So even those that are asleep will know that there's the unseen, and that is part of multidimensionality. Multidimensionality is that there's things going on beyond what you see, think, and know, and it's affecting who you are as a multivibrational being. And that there will be a higher sense of liberation. The higher sense of liberation is reaching up and higher to things we were never taught, told, and shown, but we know that is existing. We know that we have celestial family. We know that we have alien family. We know that we have angelics. We know that we have masters. All of those things are in the unseen, and we absolutely know it's a part of our multidimensionality. Everything exists in the now from 1 to 13 dimensions, and there is a level of benevolence and purpose at every dimension. And within every dimension, there's a bandwidth. There's infinite bandwidth within every dimension. Right now, we're seeing it as a lower, middle, and higher because that lower vibration is just so dark, and there is so much variances, and it is abusive and destructive, that source is only the one, and the legions of light are only the ones with their soul families that will determine when any, and who gets pulled out. Because again, their intentions are just to destroy if they don't get their way. And of course, that's not part of the unity consciousness thing there. So again, everybody has within their soul blueprint the sacred trinity, the heavens, and the heavens include Lord Metatron, Lord Sananda. Lord Sananda is in charge of wisdoms and intelligences through the Christ consciousness, and of course, Lord Metatron is of all the science templates of Mother, Father, God. The masters, which I belong with, the series of the masters, all the masters that have been here, most of the masters that we know of, that we've written of in our histories, if you will, most of them have been in human form, and they've added their energies to the Christ consciousness, to the grids, and to those that are reincarnated as masters. I'm a reincarnated master, and so we just keep those energy of the timelines. Lord Sananda is our head teacher, if you will. Lord Sananda is our head prof. And so that head prof then downloads to our higher selves, to our guides in all of the dimensions. Remember the cascading effect, 13th, all the way down to the 3rd and 4th dimension. Wherever you're at, I'm in the 5th dimension right now, moving up into the 5th. So all of my higher aspects and all of my guides cascade those energies down. And I work with Lord Sananda on all my higher etheric astral experiences, on my dream time, when I'm on light ships. It's a constant flow, because that's where my family lineage belongs, with the Lord Sananda in the wisdoms and intelligences for light. It's just what my lineage has done, and of course it's my excitement. I love teaching. And then there's the angelic, celestial, and alien, and all of the plant life on all the planets throughout the multiverse, as well as the suns and the moons. Because remember, we are multivibrational, multidimensional consciousness. The higher you go in consciousness, capacity, and aptitude, reaching for higher source, reaching for higher harmonization or source, you get to know that you're all consciousness, and you can pull in whatever information you need or want. And that's what I said earlier, as I had a comment of people asking, well, how do you know what you know when you just tap into something? Again, is because the higher you go and allowing yourself to integrate and harmonize a source, you can just pull whatever information you need that your higher says, okay, that's that. You know, I just see them as little dots, and my higher self will pull that dot in for me to know. I don't have to keep it in my part of the brain's function is to hold on to memory, but it's really not. It's a misunderstood concept. We'll talk about that in a different video, because it's a whole video unto itself about what we think memory is and how people think it's part of the brain, but it's not. It's just a misunderstood version of processing energy. That's it. And so that's how the higher self does it. The higher self pulls those threads of information, wherever it is, whatever dimension. If you're not going to constantly reach up like the people on the lower vibrational realms, where they just focus on other people, they focus outside of themselves, they focus on harvesting, they focus on taking, stalking, spying, raping, stealing, harvesting, Epstein. It's the Epstein agenda, right? It's the minions for the elite, the minions for the devil, the minions for the lower vibrational cults and satanic experiences. Those are the realms that we're talking about of darkness. And they're here to catalyze the light. They're all aspects of all that we are, but we're just giving you an example. Those consciousnesses cannot reach up into the higher conscious because they don't believe in, their belief systems are completely closed. Their belief systems are not reaching. There will not be that functionality in their brain to allow the higher self-harmonization. That's why they don't have connection with their intuition. That's why they look so much outside of them, because their intuition is completely blocked. Their chakras are blocked. They don't have that higher self-connection. And that's why most of them will end up in their own demise, because they're not operating and the light is continuing. So that just gives you an idea of the sacred trinity, which is the heavens and all the categories of the heavens I just talked about. Lord Metatron, Lord Sananda, masters, the angelics, celestials, aliens, all the planets and the suns and the moons of those planets, because there's infinite life within all of that, right? Did I go into the predictions? Did I finish the predictions? Oh, so yeah, scholarly. I'm so excited about that. So again, when I said scholarly, which means that we're going to see more coming back of books, tangible books. We saw a lot of, the last couple of years, people were kind of going through this thing, oh, we're not going to be using books so much anymore. We are going to be getting back to books because it's going to be more of an on Gaia nature, you know, is going to a park and having an open learning session. And you're going to bring your books and your journals and it's going to be more like Alexandria times, where it was a very high intelligent era. And we were very artistic, we were very creative, you know, very exploring different levels and different perspectives of philosophy, because we're reaching into a higher consciousness. And every time we reach into a higher consciousness, there's all new experiences to explore. Who are we, what exists, and what's going on within us, and that is philosophy in and of itself. And then we want to explore all of those things that we're tapping into. Just as my client this morning was sending me this beautiful writing of what she was experiencing, that's a philosophical experience. She was tapping into it from a higher degree and a deeper degree. Therefore, she was bringing forward a new philosophical experience on her exploration. Why it is so important in that sacred trinity, part of the heavens and part of the collective and part of the Gaia, is it's sharing and helping one another explore what you're going through, because we learn from one another. We learn from our explorations of what we're doing in our own pathwork. And why I've said before, so often before, make sure that you're sharing and you're expressing and you're exploring who you are and what you're going through, because it's really important that you allow that minutia of alchemy to be shared, because you're showing others what Ascension pathwork is really like. And you're also helping each other anchor in new experiences of philosophy, psychology, psychiatry, and all of those things that are going into this new scholarly era. And so I had a few visions this morning of 3D systems and 5D systems, and these are the kind of the 2025 New Earth Systems blueprints. New Earth System blueprints, 3D were very church and state. Divine feminine, divine masculine were very separative. There was no discussion on divine feminine, masculine energies. It was very low consciousness because it was so separative. Divine feminine was pretty much left erased from our histories. Misogynistic, oligarchic creations of most of our earthly systems in all church and state, whether it be education, medicine, all of those things. Every system that we have was essentially created by divine masculine. And of course, because there has been no healing done, the wounding that has been seen and represented in all of the systems that we see right now is unfolding. The divine masculines are focusing on their healing right now. In that regard, we're now seeing, okay, well, all of our systems need to be rewritten. Now what? So we do have to come up with the 5D systems. So I'm just giving you an overview of old 3D systems and how and why they got to where they did. We've already discovered that because of the lower consciousness in separation and discrimination, it left a very fragmented experience, and our systems in 3D are very fragmented. And why the church and state are hanging on to select, they're not now, because Spirit's showing me that those beings that even were a part of attacking me, they do want to come to an agreement of working together in some way of how we can work together, church and state. I'm not talking about the select cults that were paid to attack me. I'm talking about the ones that were behind the payments, because they do understand that there are 3 paths, doing nothing and you'll be moved, continuing to do what you will do and you'll be moved, or you move into a win-win. Those are the 3 choices and 3 options. And so everybody can choose at their own accord. I'm not going to be a part of any of it. I'm out already. I'm already gone. Everybody can sit and do their attacking all they want, and it's just going to keep piling onto their own life, which they've been told 8 billion trillion different times, but they're still thinking that their stories are going to surpass, but they're not. So this is where Spirit is showing all of those people that will continue to play in those lower vibrational church and state attacking. If they choose to do what they do, the karma will get worse daily. They will be blocked monetarily. That is the directive from Source Creator. Source will block off all of their abundance. Source will block off their health, and Source will block off anything that they think they are going to try and grow. So that is because they've chosen it. They've chosen to stay in attack mode. They've chosen to stay in non-accountability. They've chosen to stay in discriminating and attacking innocent healers and following them and stalking them and spying on them and defaming them and putting claims on them and all the things that they've been doing, which are complete 100% false bullshit to get away with their theft and their thievery, because they don't want humanity to grow into higher consciousness. They know who I am and they know why I'm here, and they think that they're playing chess with God, and God has actually shown them, and there are discussions being had right now to heal the situation, because they know they will not win, and they know that. So they're just coming in with this channel. Okay, so again, the lower vibration is because how the systems were set up, again, it was not aligned with Source Creator, it was not aligned with universal laws. 5D, all of our systems will be aligned with universal laws and the blueprint, Sacred Trinity. 3D, it was not. It was very segmented, it was very fragmented. There was no divine feminine involved. It was very misogynistic, oligarchic, because the core wounding of discrimination of the divine feminine in itself. So that's why divine masculine right now is having to heal a lot of their divine feminine wounding. Why there's been so much attack on me as a divine feminine balanced, because all of the systems out there are divine masculine, and they're in opposition of who I am as a divine feminine, coming up and speaking higher vibrational truth, higher consciousness truth. So in that shadow exploration, it has to be done. You can't get out of it. You can't jump, and you can't take a fast pill. You can't jump over any of it. The 3D realm has to be alchemized. And those that refuse to move and stay there and be in denial and want to throw their hate and never look at themselves as the problem, as the issue, don't want to look at their shadow, don't want to look at their envy or their jealousy or their lies or their deception or their false claims they've made or the 500 rituals they've done on one innocent person. All of that stuff will just sit and sit and sit and sit and sit on top of all the other karma they've contributed, and then it will just keep impiling. That's why they're not going to have any growth in money. They're not going to have any growth or abundance in their health or any other thing else, because they have to sit in it. They have to see what they've created, and all of the systems of church and state are now seeing it. Spirit will not allow anybody to move forward, not even an ounce, in any way. They'll all be pulled out of their positions and their roles, one by one by one by one. Again, there is only 3 choices to what has occurred. There will be no more human trafficking. There will be no more human abuse. If you choose to do it, you will be stopped, and you will, all of your abundance and all of your aspects of who you are as a multidimensional being, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, they will start to be blocked, and it will start to go down. And then again, those lower vibrations will be pulled by Source Creator, and their demise will be their demise based on their ignorance, their darkness, and whatever they choose as their own individual free will. But they've gotten free warning. Every video I come on, I'm telling them what's going on. So people, it is what it is, free will. So 3D was based on, again, it was all wounding, shadow self. That's what the alchemy is all about. That's what Ascension Pathwork is about, is bringing that harmony and balance of the shadow. That's your integration of all your soul fragments. Every soul fragment, 51%, what timelines were you on from 3 to 5D? What are those woundings? What are the shadows? And integrate it into the higher self of who you are, the higher minutia of who you are. And all of these teachings should be taught to the collective, because as I said, again, we're seeing daily where there's outbursts. They're seeing daily where things are occurring that didn't have to occur. So it's unnecessary. But again, the leaders will be held responsible for how much they've allowed to occur. The secret society attacks and all of the things that have happened occur, they've allowed it. So they're going to be responsible for facing it and helping create new systems as a part of their karma, rebuilding and clearing their karma. But that, again, that's up to, I don't want to comment on that, because that's up to Source, depending on how much attacking they've done, how much abuse they've done, how much stalking and spying they've done, and they might not have another option. That's up to Source. I know from what I'm involved with in the conversations, it's a pulling out right now. There's no tolerance. So hiding of the shadow, denying of the shadow, secret lifestyles and underground lifestyles, cults and covens, secret masonry, all of those things are shadow energies. So they're not owning who they are. They're not allowing themselves to be fully transparent. Again, the higher in consciousness you are, the more pure, transparent, and truthful you are. Again, what is there to hide? Right? You know somebody that's standing in truth, there's fully transparent, nothing to hide. I don't lie. You're the one, the shadow. I worked through my shadow. Very little expansion and no evolution, because they're stuck in the system, church and state beliefs, notions and ideals, lineage, and how they've been patterned. And again, they're very low vibrational, cyclical, karmic patterns of thought. And if they get stuck in that thought, it's just like a broken record that keeps going around, because the only thing to get them out of that is through the alchemy of harmonizing with your light. Light is the only thing that will break that record. And if they're not doing the Ascension path work, the only way is out. There is only one way through Ascension. You got to alchemize it. So the 5D blueprint will be higher because you'll be connected with your higher self. It's higher self integration, and it's a higher connection to all realms. So that means whatever wisdoms and intelligences we're pulling down, it's going to be the higher realm to intelligence. It's going to be all light intelligence. So it will be absolutely, yes, a higher intellect. That means, again, as goes to piggyback off of our predictions, they're going to be more of a scholarly time, because we're going to be having a lot of downloads that we just have to share. And we're going to be looking at who we are, what do we exist, what is going on within us in a much more expansive, higher perspective way, because again, we're going to be higher consciousness. From here on out, 5D, it'll be all spirituality, because we've always been spirit. We've just harmonized ourselves in a more of a matter body. The lower vibration you are, the more matter it is, because there's not a lot of light flowing through it. The higher in consciousness you are, you have a lot of light flowing through, and you're practicing and you're in training higher light to move through your cells, your bodies, and your multidimensional fields and your cells. All of that helps you harmonize and oscillate at a higher frequency. So again, why I say doing your healing sessions at night. If you want to book an Ascension session with me, please do so. Who are you? And you're becoming a faster integration of source mirrors. So everything about your consciousness from here on out is about integration of whatever you see before you. You don't have to play with it. You don't have to entangle, but say, yes, I understand that as source. I accept that as source. I allow that as source. Okay, and I can move and navigate on my way. Again, anything before you, you can choose to engage with it or choose to not to engage with it, and then you move around your way and learning how to navigate, learning how to master your emotions in it. That's a part of mastery. So this is why, again, I'm tested with things like this, because it's a part of my mastery to disengage, to detach, to know that they're on a consciousness level that I'm not, and they're going to see things and perceive things from a conscious level I'm not. There's some that will never understand the unity consciousness. They just want to stay in their wounding of attack and hate, because that's where their wounds are. Self-rejection and discrimination, because that's where their wounds are. And so there will be that interplay, but spirit and source will always make sure that when the door is closed, it's closed, and they will no longer have access. Just because there's certain plans of ascension and certain beings that are meant to be in certain places. The Ascension Pathwork will activate those that have a high DNA aptitude and capacity for hybrid factor. Again, I'm a hybrid, so they'll have a higher factor to take on higher conceptual experiences multidimensionally, and they'll be really quick at it. That's why we said with the scholarly experience that we're going to be moving into, universities will be first to move, because they're going to be seeing the students at a younger age wanting higher vibrational, more multidimensional perspective information that isn't really taught in a 3D functionality. We're going to be looking into healing the body and medicines in different ways. We're going to be coming up with new tools, technology tools, to assist in multidimensional healing. And again, I said the hybrid factor, which we're going to start to understand a little bit more. It will have a little bit to do with the DNA allocation, understanding it. Again, the DNA allocation is very vast and complex, depending on what species we're talking about, depending on how much of the allocation has been activated, how they behave within their reality, the woundings that they have within their reality, from their lineage, from their Akash, from their soul timelines they have not healed. There's so much that goes into it, and as a healer you have to always return back to your higher self and say, what is my part in this transaction? Because there is so much that is taking effect of the Christ consciousness, and light is affecting humanity every day. This is why even the staunch people that were attacking last week, they're now wanting to sit down, because they do see there is only 3 paths, and there is only one path that will benefit them, and so they can all choose. Right? But it's just basic common sense, and you get to choose, well, what do I want my karma to look like? Do I really want to give my children that kind of karma? Do I really want to have my next timeline in a sick body? Do I really want to have dementia at the age of 40? All of those things are karmic. And so you can't wonder why your life is the way it is when you've refused to heed spirit 8 billion times that we've sent healers and teachers and angels before you to say, stop doing what you're doing. It's not going to amount to anything but really bad karma in a sick, diseased body. So yeah, you might have a few dollars in your pocket, but what does that mean when your body is really sick and nobody's going to heal you? Or what does that mean when you have no way out of the situation you're in because you're not being supported? Your angels and your teams won't support you, they won't protect you, and all that magic's coming back. So again, you can keep doing in your schemes and plots, but if you draw it out, you will always see yourself in your own demise. Unless you choose to go in and alchemize it and choose unity consciousness, because you are one with everything you attack. but it's been about money and greed, and that's been the 3D systems, and that's how they've been constructed. So some of the people in those experiences in the Epstein agendas, the elites, they're having a very hard time letting go of control because they've had control of humanity. So they will know very quickly that they don't have control over humanity's ascension. Humanity will be liberated. The underground will be liberated. The children will be liberated, and there will be healing systems in place. And then there will be those that refuse that story, and they will be moved out by Source Creator. Because again, there is a no tolerance. Everybody's had enough warning. I mean, it's basic common sense. Treat others as you want to be treated. It's not rocket science, but they've been getting away with so much covert abuse. And the human testing and the human experimenting and paying secret societies to systematically abuse you and send people to intimidate and stalk you and block you. All of these things, and everything they do to stalk and block, it's going to be sent back to them, and they're not going to be having anything returned to them but their own mess. So I thought I got a download here, something really interesting about DNA. The DNA gets activated by light, your intention, and your direction of your alchemy. Like when you're sitting with spirit and you're saying, I'd really like to heal this. I want to get a closer connection with my spirit guides. I want to get a closer connection with who I am. I want to learn about intimacy. Whatever it is that you're wanting to intend a different perspective on, it is through intention and only through the purity of your heart. The DNA gets activated sometimes through your not knowing, and sometimes through your intentional work. I always suggest doing your ascension pathwork so you can pay more attention to what's going on in your body. Your body is a very intelligent design. Your body will tell you what and how you're going through things. Your body will tell you if there's things and energies in your field that are uncomfortable and for you to move away. Your body is a highly intelligent receptor and a sender of information. So just know that, and how you operate in this experience of yourself. Then you get to understand what it feels like to move through a DNA activation, what a DNA activation really is, because remember, you're becoming higher consciousness. So all the things that we've been talking about for years about ascension are going to come into a new level of intelligence. The crystalline light is added in and around the membranes of the cells and within and around the membranes that is held within the DNA to help the nourishment process of what that light spark has done in the DNA activation. Do I have a little picture of my DNA? The codon right there. So when we talk about when a DNA activation occurs, it only occurs in one codon at a time. And one codon is only, part of that little half right there. That is a codon right there. So when a DNA activation occurs, it only occurs in one codon at a time. And there's no way of explaining the multidimensional wisdoms that's in any one codon. It's vast, it's dynamic, it's profound, and it is always divinely, this is so complex. Your DNA activations are directly related to your capacity and aptitude to understand higher vibrational information at the various levels. If we go to the highest level, a codon activation will assist you in understanding higher vibrational skills and gifts and talents that add layers, if you will. And I say layers in means of a dodecahedron. It adds that new facet of crystal that you can look at your gifts and skills in a new way and practice them in a new way. And that you have usually your ancestors that assist you, because they're coming to also harmonize and bring into new alchemy of timelines and grids, helping you with where they left off, and you're going to continue. Because again, it's always cascading. You're always moving up and out, always up and out, always up and out, as the contraction and expansion of who you are as a multidimensional soul. You get to choose through your intention and purity of heart how you're going to move about in your creating of a new reality. So your gifts and skills, as I said earlier, because we're moving into a higher intellect, those of us that are here to be teachers and healers of new philosophies, of new teachings, of new psychologies, of healing people in different ways through different counseling methods, if you will, or light or color or sound, all of those things are going to be changing, and we get to add to the minutia and to the soup of what has been through our ancestors and using those skills and talents in a different way. And it is directly activated by your DNA, and it is only by light that your DNA is activated. light and sound, kind of in the same thing, because it is a harmonic vibration that touches that aspect and brings light to that. They called it junk or closed off DNA, but it isn't. There's always source information in it, and it is light that activates it. And that light is also in text, sacred text is known as the Shekinah, the breath, and that is the divine feminine. The mother is the activator of spirit. The spirit is the breath of God's plan, if you will. That breathing of the plan into place, the breathing of what your plan is into place. The DNA is your ancient and alchemic codes of futures and now. And in that DNA activation, you get to become activated in a higher version of you. That is always the case, again, but nobody can be, fully in understanding of what a DNA activation is and how really deep and rich it is and how expansive it is. I mean, it's profound. Again, depending on where you're at in your consciousness level, a person of low consciousness will not have a high DNA consciousness activation. They just won't, because they haven't done the work to understand what a download is. They haven't done the work to understand what unconditional love for themselves are, or how to use a skill, to heal. But that's just where they're at. There's no judgment. It's just giving you an idea of where, a DNA activation can be. Again, it's infinite. DNA activations, you cannot put in one class, because it all depends on where everybody's at in their blueprint, what they've just gone through, how much of their 51% have they cleared, do they have a capacity and aptitude to bring down higher vibrational downloads, are they connecting with their spiritual teams every day, are they doing the daily path work every day, are they clearing their fields, are they in tune with their chakras? I mean, everything is inclusive. And why we're going to be, again, having a higher vibrational intellect, and we're going to be learning like outside with the energies of the biosphere. And we're going to be in universities doing lectures where there's more and more people that can integrate and come into those classes, because again, as a conduit and as a reader, I pick up on the energies that are in the field. So the more students that are there, the higher vibrational variance we can have on all these beautiful multidimensional stories, because many of these children come from planets and species that are just new to the hybridization program. They're just new to our galaxy knowing. Some of these planets we don't even know, and they're not written about. So it's going to be so exciting. Your DNA is like the storyboard of your past and all of your futures and the potential. Remember, Source offers you equal measure, always. Your DNA is the elevator. Are you going to get in and you push the button? Source will offer it equal measure. You have to show the equal measure. Are you doing positive action? Are you doing compassionate action? Are you doing loving action? Those are the things that the universe responds to. So if you're sitting and doing nothing, if you're not expressing, and if you're not doing the 3 E's, the universe can't bring you a new manifestation. That's why we always talk about in 5D, you're going to be manifesting from joy. Why? Because joy is a constant manifesting from your excitement. Because you're constantly creating, you're constantly drawing, you're constantly painting, you're dancing, you're going out to nature. All of those are positive creative actions, and the universe will supply you equally. Crystalline requires new concepts of understanding. So as we go higher in consciousness, we become more and more crystalline, because that's light. Light is higher in crystalline energy. That light that moves through your DNA, it moves through the cells, it moves through your blood, it moves through all that you're breathing. So the more that you work with light, as I say in all my videos, do your nighttime healing and practice harmonizing with higher light. Intention, direction, and focus. Visualize the crystalline kaleidoscope. There's lots of great videos online for different binaural beats. There's different megahertz. Do all of those things in your nighttime exploration of your crystalline light in your union and relationship with Source, as yourself as being your multidimensional body as being light. Right? The more you do that, the greater consciousness connection you're going to have with Source. That's Source. Source is light and song. So how can you be more light and song? And then again, we'll see the exact opposite of those that choose not to be light and song. And so we have to accept that as just a part of the all. But you have complete design and sovereignty to say, I don't want that in my salad anymore. The crystalline requires a different level of consciousness. That's why, again, the schools and all of our higher vibrational learnings are going to be higher vibrational intellectually given by those that have been practiced and scholared, as well as teaching the younger children, because, again, they're already hybrid, and they come with a higher aptitude to understand, capacity and aptitude at a complex conceptual level that is just not offered in 3D. and they will become scholars much quicker and sooner. And it doesn't mean, or they wanted me to put that caveat, it doesn't mean that we're going to get rid of all of our 3D teachings and learnings. No, it just means that we're needing to explore things at a higher conceptually integrative way as being crystalline and multidimensional, because it will part and part, everything is connected. It will part and part activate our DNA, and it will part and part allow the issues within our human collective, our sacred trinity, to be resolved, because again, it's all healable. So again, we're going to be learning the psyche, and I was putting down some channeled notes this morning. The psyche is in and of itself a personality, because the psyche soul fragments, if you will, the little aspects of who you are, the fragments that you're healing to call in as part of your own. The psyche are experiences of energy, right? So if every person is responsible for 51% from 3 to 5D, whatever personality fragment and soul fragment they're healing is that's where that wound occurred. And it always goes back to the soul blueprint. There's always going to be themes. There's going to be divine feminine masculine energies to heal. And it's going to be why and where you're here to heal and offer your creative genius to help and assist others in your creative collective and the sacred trinity. So everything that you come with is all a beautiful plan. It's all a beautiful design of Source Creator. Everybody has this beautiful divine Source Creator soul blueprint that is a minutia of all things that you've ever been, but understanding the psyche in a very complex level in ways that, again, it goes back to lower, middle, and high. If you're not working on the soul fragments, it will be of combined array of unhealed psyche personalities, and why some will experience some disorders of bipolar or schizophrenia, because they have so many unhealed soul fragment personalities that it will only pull on that personality, as we said before, as its highest version of safety, because in the lower realms, because of their wounding, because of the separation and discrimination, they live from a space of fear, because they haven't healed their safety issues. They haven't healed the union back to self. So again, as a healer, you can understand that what anybody is going through at any one time, whether it's low, medium, or high, is all based on their consciousness, low, medium, and high. The psyche in and of itself are the experiences that it had and that it's working on to bring it back into harmony and alchemy. And it will show its own unique personality trait based on the wounding of that experience. That's why those of us that are conduits and healers and readers, we can tell by whatever is before us, because a conduit is anyone that can read the Source Creator fields, the Source Creator energy. Source Creator is all that is. I have an interface to read whatever it is before me that Source Creator opens up for me. That's my contract with Source Creator. That's why I always ask you, to those that are moving into a higher realm of co-creation with Source, what is my part in this transaction? And Source will give you what to read forward. And that's why sometimes we're closed off to some things, because some things just takes up space and we don't need to see it. Some things we're not meant to see or connect with. And that's why, again, those in the lower dimensions, they continually abusing the spiritual laws, because there is no connection. They're not connected with their higher self. They're not asking themselves what's their part in the transaction. They're just abusing the laws to get what they want, to take and rape and steal, because they want to keep forcing their narrative. So again, they're going to be closed off and sent into another direction, because from here on out, it's unity consciousness and learning how to be more unified, learning and understanding the expansiveness of the psyche itself, why the psyche behaves the way it does, why people behave the way that they do, is that experience they're stuck within, that personality they're stuck within, because that was an unhealed soul fragment. Now remember, what makes that psyche and soul fragment exist the way it does? We want to get more intimate with it. It's either the lineage and the familial wounding, what it was brought up in, and all of the Akashic woundings from 3 to 5D. So again, low, middle, high, depending on where you're at in your consciousness level. If you've worked through most of your karma like me, the lineage and the familial wounds, I've transcended and I've transmuted so many, ancestral curses and hexes. Because I was dumped, I was a huge, curse transmitter, because I could transmute all those curses and hexes of limitation, subjugation, suppression, enslavement, all of those things. And that's where you have to do the path work to work out those things that are just really not comfortable to look at. Why did you choose to allow yourself to be abused? Why did you choose to allow yourself to be enslaved? Reclaiming your power and moving about in a higher vibrational context way. Because again, God will be moving those that have done the work. God will be moving those that are purity of heart. Again, God said, those will be lifted, are the ones that are practiced, moving through the purity of heart. Because that's how you connect with your collective, is through the purity of heart. Again, life will be your proof. Those that are on the lower vibration, that do nothing but dark occult practices, voodooisms, black magic, satanic sacrifice, all those things. It's just taking those are the negative side of the infinity, and it's a taking experience. They're going to be weighted by the taking, the debt that they've incurred. And they don't have that heart chakra to move with. So they have to repractice going back within and activating their chakras. That is the only way for them to move through their ascension, because they've done so much damage, some of them. Some of them are just in that consciousness and they just choose not to awaken. There are those, the ones that we're talking about, the ones that will be shifted, the ones that are being closed off from timelines. Those are the ones that continually wake up every day, plot, plan, and scheme to never be accountable and to keep attacking the innocent. Those are the ones we're talking about. We're talking about the human experimenting. We're talking about human testing. We're talking about cults, covens, witches, and Masonic groups that choose to systematic abuse innocent people every day. Those are the ones we're talking about. They are the ones that will be shifted. And there's various array of variances within each of those groups. There will be some that will choose to awaken and get back on track because light is changing consciousness every day. And people are waking up to say, holy crap, is that really what I want? You know, is there a way that I can, you know, bring redemption to myself, spirit? And they'll go and have that conversation with spirit. That's up to nobody but that soul and spirit. That's why free will is the number one law. Right use of free will, non-interference, get out of people's lanes and leave them alone. Because you're gaining karma every day you interfere with somebody's life. Even if you're sitting across the parking lot with your window open and doing whatever it is that you're doing, projecting, you're still earning karma. You're earning karma projecting. So every day that you move about, you're going to have to work through your karma of everything that you're doing to interfere with an innocent person's life that did not invite you. You're not invited into my energy. You're not invited into my light. The timelines were closed. I said, go away. I said, leave me alone. And therefore the heavens will be stepping in. So my ancestors and guides, those that are constantly interfering, including the ones in the parking lots that are stalking and spying and hacking and sacking and defaming and doing whatever it is they do at nighttime. So I wake up in the morning, have to do clearing. Karma, 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 karma. Ancestors and all the legions and all the beings, I want karma placed on these people. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Again, the psyche personality is also in direct response to the dogmatic rules that you were brought up within, the rules and the practices. And again, if you're doing dark occult practices, conjuring negative deities and energies, and if you're doing nothing but conjuring hate, again, that affects the brain, it affects the cells. There is no light getting in because you're conjuring hate. Anything that you intend and anything that you do is going into your body, brain, and cells. Because you're a multidimensional being, that hate will affect your multidimensional reality. And again, why everybody's getting their karma. They will not escape it. They cannot run past it. They cannot buy themselves out of it. They cannot pay a voodoo doctor to put pins in a voodoo, to put all the voodoo back into the voodoo doll, or to send it to somebody else. It will all come back to each person involved. And they were told. Go back to all my videos and write down how many times these people were told. It's so ridiculous. All this for money. They do all this. Their belief system is, if they kill me and sacrifice me, they can take my gifts and skills. That's their belief. Their belief is they kill me, and they see if the voodoo's working and their magic's working, that they're going to take my energy and they're going to keep harvesting off it, and they're going to keep manifesting a life of getting stuff, of taking stuff, of not being seen for the satanic, dark people they are that just want to harvest and take and rape and sacrifice. That's who they want to see themselves as. That's their belief. And so the karma is going to be showing them. Because Spirit's told every single one of them. Spirit's told every single one of them to leave me alone. My daughter will not be touched. That's every day. At least there's not a guy jacking off right next to me. No jacking off right there. And these people are paid. They're paid to sit and watch and stare and sit and watch and stare. Send their little projections and send their little hate and their little witch stuff at me. So you get to be hateful and sitting there, but I can't sit here and be all light and singing my light language and doing my light. So why do you get to be a criminal, and why do you get to be hateful and corrupt, and why do you get to be sinful and disgusting and degrading just because I'm different than you and I get to express myself different than you? Why do you get to express who you are, but I don't get to express who I am? How's that okay? Well, because there's a whole bunch of elite that have created 3D systems and programs, as we said. 3D systems and 3D programs that have been created, and they're all been created from misogynistic wounding, and the divine masculines have not healed their wounds. So when they see a divine feminine standing in her power and speaking of high light consciousness, then it's really triggering for them that have not been healed. That's why many of them will be going through their ideas and their energies of what their gender confusion issues. They're going to be going through a lot of sorting that out for themselves, because they're starting to heal their divine feminine masculine energies. So thank God for that. They're waking somehow. A lot of them are going to start healing those experiences within themselves. But that's what I go through every day. You know, the little stalking in the spine and the cars parked and just staring at me. And the constant intimidation and the constant, you know, the constant stupidness. It's stupid. Because if they were to draw it out, every single one of them, whether they're in a government office or they're in the military, and all these people that think they're being so secret and they're hiding. And even when I'm out for my early morning workouts, they park in their absolutely sticking out like a sore thumb car, and they just watch me work out. Okay, so what are you validating? You're validating that everything I've said is true. I'm a hermit. I live a hermit. I live a hermit life. This is what I do. And so what are you finding out? That I am exactly who I say I am? Okay, so it makes all of your narratives and all the false claims and all the false things about me, even though all you've done is steal, take, and rape and harvest from me. If that wasn't enough, if you didn't torment me enough, if you didn't rape me enough, if you didn't take from me enough, now you're going to do false claims to try and make all of your crimes my fault. So not only do I have to heal from the victimization you've done for decades to try and kill me and take me out with your sacrifices and your voodoos and your chanting in a graveyard and all of the blood work and the root work that you've done on me, not only did I have to heal the fuck shit, but now I have to fight for my voice because now you're dumping your fucking claims and your crimes on me. And you're putting claims in court on that? Are you kidding me? God will have each and every one of them running for the fucking high heels. And again, if they were smart 2 years ago, they would have done it discreetly and just given me the money they stole. Because now every single one of them are going to get pulled out for all of their stories and all of their deeds from everything they've done behind closed doors. Nobody's going to be missed out. And this is where, again, you go back. And if you drew it out 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and if you drew it out, the most advantageous for any corrupt person that would have done, whether it be a military, a president, or anybody else in their highfalutin, high elitism, fake-ass experience where you're paying secret societies to go and kill an innocent light worker that's been here 900 times, absolutely not going to happen. The legions will have your ass on a string. Your own guides will have your ass on a string. Your own ancestors will have your ass on a string. Why? Because all the ancestors have spoken in allegiance of one. The ancestors are going to be released from the subjugations and suppressions of hate and dark occult practices that have done nothing but bring hate and karma. They want liberation, and they're not protecting anybody that does dark occult practices. And it's returning tenfold. So if they had drawn this out 6 years ago, like we said, all of the elite, anybody that's involved in this discrimination course, because it's a multi-layered experience of human testing, human experimenting, paying secret societies to abuse me, and my ex was just one of them. Now they're all obsessed with my energy and they refuse to let my energy go. So the attacks and the bullshit is still happening. They're now all facing the fact that the only way out is to return the money, or it's going to get worse and worse and worse. If they had done it 6 years ago, they wouldn't be facing what they're facing now. And every single one of them and all their stories and all their darknesses and all of their deeds and all their stuff they tried to hide, their secret lifestyles, their secret this, their secret that, it's all going to come to the forefront and everybody will see what they've been trying to hide. Whereas if they just would have paid me off 6 years ago like they should have, like we suggested, like we stated would happen in the predictions, it's all unfolding now, and that's exactly where God wanted them. Why? God's plan. Because those beings that were connected with my discrimination case had been doing it many lineages, had been doing it many timelines, and were very corrupt in how they had been abusing humanity in the spiritual abuse of spiritual laws of the highest order, tunneling into Akashic timelines of the highest order they were being abused. And Spirit has all of them exactly where they need to be. Just like a sliver, it's all going to get pulled up and out. Because many of these affiliations support the black web. And just like a weed, it's going to get pulled. Because the ancestors are choosing liberation. They are choosing to unify back with Source, and they will not protect you. So whatever deity is you think you pray to, whatever it is the grave you think you dance on, whatever demon, whatever being that you're calling upon, I'm telling you right now, if you choose to do so, it will be your demise. Come and park your cars in front of me and you will immediately get karma. Jack off next to me and see what happens to your dick in the next 10 days. Play with God all you want. We've been stating these rules for a very long time. So God is saying enough is enough. How much do you have to play with God for you to be absolutely, absolutely in a new awareness that you won't win this game you're trying to win? Because death and hate is not something you want to win at. You're very wounded. Anything that is sent to me, it's sent back. And you deserve to sit in what you sit in because of the damages you've done to me. So what they were showing me is in their manifestations of realizing, yet, okay, we've got 3 choices here. So many of the beings that have been involved at the very elite levels, as I said earlier, why it's gone on for so long is because of the money. Why it's gone on for so long, they want control and they do not want me to step into my leadership experience because they know that I am a leader of the multiverse of the legions, and that causes great threat. But because of the consciousness they're sitting in, they don't understand that we're not even competing. We're not in the same ballpark. I don't compete, so it's not a threat. You're a threat because it's where your wounding is, because they're misogynists, they're not healed. Divine feminine, divine masculine energies, we can go all into the wounding and the psyche wounding of it, and if they wanted to book a healing session, I can do that. But they choose not to. They just wanted to keep attacking. Now they know there's only 3 options. And so there has been many people at various levels of elitism, of their roles, their titles, and their commandmentship on the planet. And they're now seeing very blatantly that it's going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to be a win-win or it'll be very, very bad. And they choose it. They've been choosing it for about 6 or 7 years now. That's just the awakening that I've had to the attacks. The attacks have been going on since I was born. They've had my name in secret files for a very, very long time, and nobody's taken accountability. I've received nothing from anybody. Again, I wanted to state this because I've had many careers in my entire life. I started working at the bank when I was 17. I've worked 13 years at the bank and various different banks. Worked in Vancouver on Bankers, you know, the trade street where they did all the trading in the big towers. Worked in the bank, worked in the governments, and in every one of the corporations I've worked at, especially the ombudsman office, where we were directly responsible for the people's money that were mentally infirmed, that were physically infirmed in various different ways, whether they came down with diseases, and the families handed over responsibility to the public trustee's office so that the families could be at safety, knowing that there was a non-partisan, unbiased experience that would be looking after people's money based on the rules and the law legislations of the Privacy Act, the Financials Act, Freedom of Information Act for the families that were illegitimate, if you will. I mean, so many different cases that we had come into the public trustee's office. But our responsibility was to make sure that whatever monies came in, it was responsibly adhered to on every level. And there, we would work within teams, and many signatures had to be passed off for any transaction going in and out of any one client's account. And so some of the claims that they've placed against me, there's been no medical experience because I haven't gone to a doctor in over 8 years. I haven't taken an aspirin in over 8 years. I don't take any medicines or pharmaceutical energies. I stopped it when I was just finished conceiving my 2nd child. I used to have inhalers. I stopped using inhalers after the birth of my 3rd child, sorry. So that's about 15 years. I haven't taken medication about 15 years since I started my awakening process, because I'm slowly clearing out all the blemishes in the energy of why I felt so suffocated and I needed the asthmatic inhalers. So I've done all my healing. I've done all the clearing. I haven't taken medications. I don't take medications for anything. I don't even take aspirin. I did take a couple of Tylenol 3s when I had my wisdom teeth, but that was all the medicines I've ever taken. I don't take any medicines. I haven't gone to a doctor in a very long time because I work on my health with spirit. My conduit with spirit is my health, and I go through chakra by chakra, organ by organ. I do that stuff. That's what I do. So these claims and whatever these false experiences are, none of these people, I haven't seen a penny from anybody for my entire life. And people know exactly who I am and why I'm here and the lineage that I come from. And they understand that there's things coming to me, whether they will return it or not. God will bless me with my blessings because it was due a long time ago. I was already meant to be living in the abundance experience because I have done so much good karma for creation. I have done so much good work for the creation. I'm meant to be living in my highest life. I'm meant to be. But these people that have been attacking me, their hate towards me is so deep that they wanted me to be sitting in nothing. They wanted to see me suffer in every way. They didn't want me to eat. They didn't want me to have any outside experience, but they didn't want me to have any outside experience but their hate. They wanted me to be ugly, disgusting, gross, old. That's why the comments come on. They try to trigger me because that's how they feel. They wanted me to go back to they wanted me to crawl back to the old experiences so that they can continue harvesting off of me and continue the same enslavement trafficking that they were doing. That's why my platforms were shut down, because they were pilfering off of my content. I haven't earned a penny on any of my YouTube channels, obviously, because it's been at zero growth for 8 years. Every time I upload, you can tell that there's videos going out somewhere else. They're not to me. My channel has never grown in 8 years since I sought my divorce. I've been legally divorced since May. All of the paperwork is now final. There is no connection with anybody from the past. All of those timelines and everybody from the past is being closed out and sent away. The cords have been severed. There was so much damage that was done on a vibrational level. There was so much damage that was done to the timelines. There was so much damage that was done. They peered into the Akashic records. There was nothing that these people didn't do to try and clone me, to try and harvest my soul, to try and harvest my gifts, to shut down and destroy my third eye, the human testing and the technology warfare that went on. Again, I wouldn't wish what I went through on anybody. And all that is coming down into their reality right now, and all of the towers and all of the realization of what they've done, and where they're sitting right now is they're trying to create a scapegoat for their crimes and all of their mess that they've been doing for over 10 years with my ex, over 10 years. They've been stealing from me for a very long time. I haven't received a penny from anybody except my 1 or 2 clients. That's the only money that I receive is from my 1 or 2 clients. Nobody sent me money. Nobody's given me any money. Nobody has returned what they stole from me that it was legally mine. Mail that was legally mine, properties that were legally mine. They had items of mine that they used to do magic on and put in jars and put in their dark occult experiences so that they can send more damage to me. They would gang up and group up to do hate and sacrifices on me to take me down and to make me fall, to make me off my pedestal as if I don't deserve where I'm at in 900 timelines. Again, it's such a low vibrational, dark consciousness. And they're seeing everything crumble around them, and they're still trying to, their last ditch effort is to blame all their crimes on me, to deflect all their crimes on me, to send in people like you just saw, send in people to get closer to me, to do root work and to do spell work, if they can get close to my field and so on. But the legions always protect me no matter where I go. They know that I can walk anywhere, and the legions will do whatever needs to be done to return it right back to anybody. So even if there are those people that do find me, the legions are protecting me because they want me to know that I'm safe to walk around. I have my right in this point in time in my evolution. I am a divine master healer and a leader for 5D consciousness. I am a leader for the multiverse. I am led by and my teams of the systems of light and galactic federations. I will be a leader on this earth for the highest consciousness that I'm able to joyfully and express through who I am as a being, of a conduit and a healer and a channeler and a teacher of the highest wisdoms that I'm able to joyfully and excitedly co-create with Source Creator. I was meant to be up on the leading platform many years ago. I was meant to have the monies many years ago because Source knows, creation knows, all of the councils, all of the beings that we don't even know about. There are beings and consciousnesses from other universes coming to work with me. because of what I have moved through, because of the sandwich and the minutia and the salad that I choose to keep going back on detours to make sure that there's anything that I can leave light with, if there's anything I can leave an explanation with for people to try and transmute and heal, as I've said from day one. Everything on our human planet of an issue of violence, discrimination, degradation, all of the things that we have seen and all the things that we experience in trafficking and anything dark and nasty, it is the shadow and the underbelly of what we've allowed to occur in our separation from who we are as spirit, source, and unconditional love. And it's all healable. And I'm a leader. I reclaim my staff and I reclaim my mandate to be the leader that I'm meant to be, because that is my mandate. Why? I fucking earned it. And it is in my DNA. I'm a magical being, and I'm going to come forward and I'm going to be the very best version of me I can be. Everyone from the past, my ex and their coven and their cult, do not step towards me, do not come towards me, you will not be accepted. There was enough torment and immense damage that was done, and you have no idea about. And all they care about is trying to negotiate and work how they're going to dump off their next, how they're going to dump off all the stuff that they've done to try and make themselves look not guilty. So not only did I have to heal from all of it, now I got to deal with that. Are you kidding me? So they have people like spying and researching and doing investigations and doing it. So what are you going to find? That I'm exactly the person that I've said I've been. I'm a healer and I pray for the love and the light of all humanity. But because they don't want that power to be relinquished, if you will, again, they're not, it's at that consciousness level, that's how they feel, that's their beliefs, to relinquish the power to a divine feminine in a different way of 5D consciousness, they haven't really thought about how it could be a win-win. Because their consciousness isn't there. Their consciousness is in that, as I said earlier, the psyche experience of fight or flight. They haven't done any healing to their divine feminine energies, so to them, I'm a threat. They've never seen a divine feminine fully balanced in all of their chakras and all of their energies, so anything that I say is a threat. If I just show up just like this, hi, how you doing? That's a threat. Because they've never seen or experienced unconditional love as a balanced divine feminine. They don't understand how divine feminine can sit down and channel 8 pages about DNA and the cerebral cortex. So, okay, well, how about you focus on you, and how about I can just express me to be me? Why can't I be me? Why that is because they're projecting that aspect of them. They're not allowing themselves to be who they are. They're hiding because they were living in secret lifestyles. They were living in secret ways of hiding themselves into gay or trans or whatever it was they were expressing and exploring, dark occultism, whatever it was, cannibalism, whatever it was they were exploring in their shadow. They chose not to heal. They chose to sit in their shadow and be it and explore it. Fine, so then explore it. But you can't dump your shadow shit and your karma on other people because you chose to explore crimes. You did crimes, you explored crimes, it's your crimes. And again, why source and the universal laws will show what you create is coming back to you because they're your crimes. They're your shadow. I've worked through my shadow. I'm not in that shadow. That's your shadow. So when we're going through these new 5D experiences, even in the 5D experiencing of policing, if you will, this 5D frequency right there, when we are having those interviews of, where anybody is at in their crime or what did they do, and we're interrogating them, if you will, we'll have different words for them. We'll see, okay, where's the wound at? And then you can see the trajectory of their actions and behaviors as to why they were doing what they were doing. And then you can get to healing quicker. We're going to be rewriting it. It's very, very exciting. But in what I've been through, it's been very telling because, again, there's so much discrimination and abuse on one divine feminine. And there is no way in hell on any level, not even a pinhead, there is no way in hell that spirit will allow me to be abused, not even an ounce of what has occurred. The abuses were just so horrible. The psychological abuse to make me think that I was the one, going crazy when they were the ones stealing the monies and impaling me with magic every day. But that is the same slow dagger. It's the same, because again, they don't have any light. They're working from the same systematic abuses, deconstructing the sense of self. But that's why working on your sense of self is so important. We're going to see how we've allowed ourselves to give belief to such low vibrational experiences, to the dark occults. Go there and explore it for a day, but don't stay there. Don't make it your life, because it's going to be what you sit in. I mean, it can't be any otherwise, because that's universal law. Law of one. Read it. Anybody that listens to our channel, I implore you, go study and go look up videos on self-actualization. Go do blog posts, do research, go read books on self-actualization. Go read books on the information and the wisdoms held within your chakras. Go read books on the law of one. Go read books on the emerald tablets. Go read books on the ancient alchemy. Go read books. Then you'll understand a portion of what I say, because it's higher consciousness. There are universal laws because we're universal beings. That's what being hybrid is about. You get to be your multidimensionality right here, right now. We are multidimensional beings. Your DNA is activated by light because we're becoming more light in every day. There are those that will refuse to be light. And in that, we have to know, and we have to return to center. Speak your truth, because that truth is the light that others need. You have to stand in your story and speak it, no matter what is coming at you. No matter whether they're elites, no matter whether they're government officials, no matter how many times anybody is trying to make you fall for crimes when all you're doing is sitting in your car and being a hermit healer. There is no way in hell God will allow that to occur. God will bring the wrath of the heavens, and there will be destruction on every level. Anybody that would try and even prosecute me for a crime when I'm the one that has been the fucking victim. The heavens have just rolled over in their grave yet again. The depths of ugliness these people can get to. I don't understand. These people are just like aching for karma. I don't get it. Yeah, I sit and I pray every day, and I talk about the abuses of secret societies, but they're because they're getting in fear. They have to face what they've done. They have to face what they've been hiding. They have to face the deeds they have done. They will not get away from it. And that's why, again, their last ditch efforts are to dump all their crimes and try and make it look like I'm the one that's been doing all of their crimes. Because that's how egregious these people are. Anyways, try and see your karma on that one. So we're going to end up seeing, so I just wanted to take a little bit of an offshoot there, because there are those still from the past. There are still those from the past that think they can come back and start a new cycle with me. If they come back and say, sorry, things are going to get back together and they'll get back in my energy. No. We're not friends. We're not pals. I'm doing what's best for me, and what is best for me is to getting as far away from all of you as possible. We are friends in no way. I've been estranged for 8 years, no contact, with exception through the lawyer. As I said, I'm legally divorced as of May 2024, because it was so prolonged and delayed and derailed because of all the spell work, and every part of my life was affected by the spell work and abuses and systematic attacks. 500 rituals done on my life, and I'm 55. 40 sacrifices on my life, so it's like every 10 years I get a sacrifice on my life. But that was done the last 5 years, so it's like a sacrifice every week. Every full moon, you gotta bet there's gonna be a sacrifice. The various rituals and all of the monies that were mine spent, when they were harvesting off of me, they would use my energy and they would use my light to attack me. And why Spirit said very few would have survived. Their intention was to clone and to take what they could of me and make it into a replica for their weaponization. There was many agendas for the use of me. Spirit showed me part of the pulling up of this weed of trafficking is because of the mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological abuses in and through the dark occult, secret society abuses, human testing, human experimenting. There is a whole onslaught, and in a way I was kind of one of them. Children born into these programs where women were not of their full awareness, mental, mind, body, heart, and soul. Illegitimate, basically. Children that are born to these agendas. And then we're left to kind of flounder on our own, and we're followed and we're stalked and we're sent more attacks and more sabotaging. There's no way my life should have been as complicated and as harsh as it has been. It shouldn't have been. There should be no way why I suffered the way I suffered. Again and again and again. But that was their intent. They showed me this one disgusting vision. I want to share with you the abuses that these people do, and they don't even have an ounce of what they've done to me. One of the visions Mother Father showed me was that one of the men that were attacking me had such an obsession about me dying and being killed by them. The vision was of me laying in their arms in suffering so that they could see and they could feed off of that demonic energy. To see someone suffer it gets masochists off and sadists. They get excited by seeing people suffer. So part of what I'm shown is that my name was passed around to these underground bidding rings of satanic hate and these cults, these dark occult groups and these dark occult people that sit in cars and watch me and do their projections. It's all hate. It's all dark occult witchery and warlockery, and they don't think that they're going to get karma off of anything that they do because it's covert. It's a cult, and they will absolutely. It's criminal. But they still think that in their abuse and in their stalking and taking and sabotaging and tormenting me, that because they trigger me in my emotional body, that's how they siphon and they harvest my energy. So if they do it enough, then I will become completely psyche detached. That's why Spirit said when I really went through this about 7 years ago, they were helping me be prepared for what I was going to go through. And I'm not going to share what they told me because nobody deserves to know on the line except for my clients, and I'll share it with them privately. But they told me something that was the only reason why I got through what I got through. Their intention was to completely separate me from source so that they could use me whatever and however they wanted to. And many of the people and many of the programs and agendas do have cloning. They do have various aspects of, again, the illegitimate children and all of those experiences that are all playing within this one story, and why it was such a vast and dynamic discrimination, abusive experience. But how I learned so much about the psyche, the various aspects of their psyche personality that got abused through. When the details come out, the leaders of the countries and the people that are involved will have to actually look at and be a part of the healing. When you intentionally choose to imprint trauma on an innocent person, not only is that egregious and hugely karmic on what you're going to be receiving, but to do it by groups of 50 to Earth Angel, to a master, to a Christ consciousness, cosmic, celestial, alien being, celestial, starseed. The karma is just uncountable, and that's why many of these people will be moved off, and only God can distribute their karma. Their belief systems and their ideologies was to, and this is why we see it in our collective, to stalk and recruit light workers, to stalk and recruit those with gifts, and then they place them in these systematic abuse targeting experiences, where one by one, their platforms are targeted, their offerings are targeted, they're sent hate and discrimination in their little comment fields and all the things that they do, because they try and get under your skin to keep targeting you. They keep getting under your skin to keep triggering you. They do whatever they can, whether they follow you places and they put little trackers on your car, they do whatever they can to let you know that they're the ones that are controlling you. Spirit showed me that many of these programs were in and of itself various human experimenting and experiences to see how much they could control of your behavior, of your emotions, of your movement through life. What they didn't anticipate is that I would survive and I would return back to source every time, and I would continue coming to the plate, and I would continue being my hybridized expression. I would continually to be the dynamic expression of who I am, the light version of who I am, teach people higher conscious. I would return to me and keep expressing me. The story of me outweighed 50 plus people, 50 groups of resources, of government, of private, of cult, of satanic groups, of people gathering in hate and chanting in hate, and the how many voodoo dolls that are of me with billions of pins in them. It doesn't matter what they do. My version with me and Source Creator, my harmonization and my alliance with light is everything. They didn't count on me returning back to me as Source returns back to Source. There is a definite plan for my life on this planet, and I'm not standing down. And Spirit, the legions, and Source, and any beings from across the multiverse, they show me there's 3 or 4 consciousness groups that are coming towards to ensure that I will have a safe passage walking wherever I want. These beings will not allow anybody to touch me, because I've been through enough that no person on this planet could survive. They wouldn't have survived the people that did what they did to me. They wouldn't have survived even an ounce of what they put me through. The elites. The elites wouldn't survive what they put me through. That's why they recruit. That's why they target. So that's why they're going to get their karma now, and they're not going to be able to survive what they've done to me even an ounce. And then they still come back with their hateful comments like, I'm not worthy of experiencing my blessings. Are you kidding me? I survived your 500 rituals. I'm going to get my fucking blessings. I deserved it before your 500 rituals. Again, you're not God. Who the fuck are you to tell me what I deserve? Yeah, and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to speak for every voiceless person that you put in the ground. Dark occult practices, if you're doing them to interfere with another person's life, it will be your demise, and I'll make sure of it, and I will see you in court. God will make sure of it. And if you're being triggered, it's because you're not healed in your divine feminine masculine energies, because divine feminine will take her place on this planet, and she will take her place within the multiverse. That's the mother's rule. And we will receive our blessings, and we will receive our blessings tenfold, and we're not going to give to anybody from our past, except the beings that were hurt. How many people were hurt in the backfire of voodoos and rituals that took place every day because of their hate and their wounding? Because they didn't want to see me go farther than them. They didn't want to see me be more than them. They didn't want to see the world love me and to see me and to view me. How come? Who makes you God? Again, the beliefs are so twisted and warped. Such a low vibrational sense of self. No security within themselves whatsoever to target a divine feminine mother that's never hurt anything. And animals, I pick animals up to move them to safety, and you're going to put your crime on me? Are you kidding me? God will make sure you're pulled out. I don't want to imagine the karma for these people. Anybody thinking they're going to put a claim on me? Again, I mean, all of you have heard me say these same things. They're just... It's beyond understand. It's beyond. That's how you know they're working in their entity attachments, because everything they're doing is absolute and utter demonic evil. Their demons are eating them alive, because not even their common sense makes sense. And that's where they sit. So be very wary of, standing in your power is so important. Stand in your power and speak your truth. It doesn't matter what your family thinks. It doesn't matter what your family wants for you. It doesn't matter what your family thought of you. It doesn't, no, walk away. Walk away. The ones that smile in your face, and then the moment you step out of the door, they're doing voodoos and spell work on you in the closet. And then you smack up your car on the way home because they just did a whole bunch of black magic on you while you walked out the door wishing them love. But that's what they want for you. They laugh at it. Like I said, that vision where Spirit showed me. Because Spirit wants me to see these people for who they are, so that I don't give back to them, so that I don't return any energy to them except what they give to me. So Spirit gave me 1 or 2 visions. Even some of the stuff the Spirit blocked off me because it would be just too traumatic for me, because I've done so much healing. But Spirit did show me the vision of them just aching to see me suffer. Because they wanted for me to suffer in their arms while they sucked the fucking life out of me, and then placed it around their satanic little group underground pyramid Epstein bidding thing that they were the big person that made me suffer. So they're going to go down in hell. That's going to be there. So you're still going to be in hell. So how's that working out for you? If you draw it out, anything you do to me, you'll end up in hell. So how's that working for you? So you had a big party, you had your big satanic polygamous party in your little underground cult, and you had your big party on how much damage you did to me and how much suffering you did to me. You saw me cry on my video today, so that makes you a really big person and a really hateful person, and you passed my name around. You got a few more $1,000 because you made me cry, because you're exploiting my suffering online, you're exploiting my suffering on the black web, because that's all you people do down there is you just exploit hate and you exploit suffering. Okay, so you're still going to end up in hell. Now what? You're still going to have a diseased body and a diseased dick. Okay, so now what? Okay, so once your teams and your guides walk away, they're not supporting you. They're not going to protect you anymore. So all that black stuff's going to come right back at you. And then what? You still got to look in the mirror every day. Okay, so then what? So then the next person, your next door neighbor moves in, and she's a nice, beautiful, divine feminine, and she's actually a scholar, and she actually speaks her truth. So what? And you just start sacrificing her? You start targeting her because she threatens you because you're not healed in your divine feminine masculine energies? Because you have childhood wounding and traumas that you don't want to look at, you don't want to heal? Okay, so now what? Draw it out. I want every single one of these people that stalk and spy and throw hate and do your little cult magic and you do your little cult satanic things and you hire all these people from all over the world to do voodoo in the back of the forest. These people are refusing to do magic on me. Why? Because they know I am a cosmic master. You touch me and it's your immediate fucking demise. I'm calling it judgment, judgment, judgment. Why? God gave me that authority. Why? Because I hold the scales. Why? Because I walk with Anubis. Why? Because it's my fucking authority. And if that triggers you, and if you feel threatened by that, then go do your healing because I've earned it. I have my right to earn who I am. I'm divine feminine. I've earned where I sit. I don't have to prove anything to anyone. So put your fucking spells away. They will come back to you tenfold. Everybody from the past, you will be blocked until the end of time. There will be no more timelines that we will co-create with. Everybody from the past, from dark, occult, Masonic, warped, secret society, satanic experiences, I will not join your group. I will not be with any man or any male or any person that practices the dark occults and interferes with people's lives. I can sense the vibration. It's not my vibration. You do what you want to do. Stay out of my way. I'm not going to join your cult. You're not going to send your charmers into me to try and sex me up. You're not going to send people to try and have sex with me when they're not feeling well and they're diseased and they're not doing good in them because that's part of your old cult plan. Another part of your systematic abuse is to keep attacking and keep sending people to charm me and break up my car and all the sick ass things that you people do. It will fail every time. It's going to go right back to you. And have you not learned your lesson yet? Isn't your hate boring? And you're still going to have to look at yourself at the end of every day. You might have a bit more money in the bank than I do, but I'm telling you right now, and all of you know it, and that's why you attack me, is that I'm more spiritually ranked, and that bothers you. And you cannot see a divine feminine that's ranked. I have an abundant soul, and I love it, and I'm going to speak about it, and I'm going to be prideful in it, in a very beautiful and honoring way. Why? Because divine feminine have never been heard on this planet. And we are balancing out this entire galaxy, so get used to it. This planet needs divine feminine healing, and I'm one of them, and I'm a leader. And I will call on the multiverse if I have to, and I will. Stay out of my way. You've been all told. And this goes to none of my clients because none of my clients do such things. They're evolved. They will be helping those that choose to get healed. The abuses that have occurred with me and to me and of me from the governments and secret societies and the cults and the covens and the warped witches and the warped warlocks. You are very, very wounded people. And if I were you, I would speak nothing but truth. I would go to the authorities and say everything that you know, and I would get yourself into a psychiatric assessment, and I would get yourself in for professional help and care because you are only causing damage to everybody around you, and your story will only get worse. If healing is not your priority, your story will get worse. Every person you send to follow me, it will get worse. Every spy, every stalking, every this, every that, because you don't have a fucking right. I have human rights. I have spiritual rights. You don't have a fucking right to do what you're doing to me. You don't have a fucking right. And I will take picture of every car. I will take picture of everybody passing me in their cars. I will take pictures of every time Spirit says that's one of them. And I'm going to take a picture and I'll show it on my videos until you get the point. You will not touch me. Stay away from me. You've been told. Go fucking heal. Divine feminine has her right to receive her blessings. Divine Feminine has her right to stand as everything that she will be. However she chooses to express herself, she shall be as she shall be. Divine Feminine are going to balance all of our systems and help rewrite them on every level in every way. So call upon us. We are healers, we are teachers, and we are the highest and the best. Divine Masculine, you need to do a lot of healing. And why I've said before, and I don't mean to say it in any way that is judgment, but I've said the same things 8 zillion times and nobody's listening because you're not used to listening to Divine Feminine. So I'm going to say it one last time. I will not be with a 3D unhealed person. I will not be with a warped warlock. I will not be with a misogynistic mason. I will not be with anyone that is not healed. Don't try and come after me to have a date. Don't try and come after me to send your minions with all your money, to try and scope me out, to try and seek me out, to try and pop up on me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go out with you. I'm not going to be with you on any level. There's no judgment in that whatsoever. I'm saying it as an energetic level. There's no compatibility. Leave me alone. You're not compatible with me. If you're willing to go through 2 years of celibacy and devote yourself to your self-actualization, then in 5 years you can come back and say, hey, want to go out on a date? Then you can say that. Until then, put your dicks away, put your rods away, put your wands away, put your thoughts away, put your energies away. Stop touching me and abrasing me on every single night I go to bed and forcing your energy in my realm. Stop forcing your energy in my realm. If I wanted you in my life, I would invite you. I didn't invite you. Divine Feminine has her right to be left the fuck alone. Everybody from the past, you've been told 18 million times, stop doing sex magic and cock blocking on me. You don't have an ounce of fucking right to say what cock comes near me and what cock doesn't. Who the fuck are you? Go get healed. These are the abuses one Divine Feminine has to put up with every fucking day. And I have to clear it. It's in my field every fucking day. They're trying to force their way in by doing their magic, by doing their sex magic, by doing their conjuring. They're trying to force manifest me. You're not going to force manifest me, people. I feel everything. God told you 18 billion times, go get fucking healed. You cannot force somebody to be in your story. You can't do that. It's against all spiritual laws. It's against the universal laws. It's against human rights. You're not going to get your fucking way. Divine masculines, divine feminines that force their way through magic. Stop doing it. You're getting yourself deeper in karma. Stop doing it. You will never manifest me. All the beings that are trying to force manifest me, from your dark occult practices, from your manifesting in your bedroom, from your jacking off to me to try to manifest me back in your life, and for you to put cock blocking spells on me and sex magic spells on me, you will never manifest me. You'll never manifest me. Your version of reality, your version of vibration is not mine. It just isn't. And if that makes you feel bad, perhaps you need to go away and you need to go get assessed and you need to get healed. Get healed. A 5D divine feminine doesn't want that. Doesn't want that. You need to get healed. You need to heal who you are. Heal who you are if you think forcing someone to be with you is the way things go. It doesn't go that way. You need to go within and begin loving yourself and accepting yourself. Stop trying to get people into your story to make yourself feel good and to feed your wounds of emptiness. It's your wounds of emptiness. Please go get healed. Everybody from the past, you will not return to my life. There is no compatibility on any level. You tried to kill me 500 times. You tried to ruin me and sacrifice me and degrade me and sabotage me. You derailed my life in every way. You stole every penny from me. I haven't eaten in over a week, only until the beautiful deposit of a friend. You put me in dire circumstances. You didn't care and you partied and laughed on it, and you even sought the glory of seeing me suffer me dying in your arms and see that suffering, and you glorified that suffering. The darkness of your soul is so very dark you will never have me. On any level, you have to seek into that darkness that makes you do what you did and think that's okay. The groups that gather and plot on people's lives, if you actually draw it out, are you absolutely certain that this is the life you want to live, to actually say it in a full sentence and why you hide and why you're in secret and why you don't want your stories to be known to the world? And if you would have paid me back 6 years ago, these stories wouldn't be known to the world. But you played God on every level. You wanted to push God on every level. You wanted to play chess with God on every level. Now God's got you exactly where God wants you. If you had drawn it out in all of your experiences and the stories you tell each other behind closed doors and the plots and the plans that you have to take insurance, to take money, to take the blessings, to swap destinies, to swap the gifts, to swap the skills and the talents, to stalk a innocent young healer that's never done an ounce of harm to anyone, besides asking for her truth in divorce and for asking what her fair rights were, and that it even got delayed 4 or 5 years extra. And I still got the bare minimum. While other people and other families in their polygamous underground secret covens and all the sex things they were doing, all those people got paid. All those people got looked after while I was homeless and sleeping in my car. And being attacked every night and having their sex magic. Come back to me, come back to me, come back to me and let me harvest off of you, come back to me. So you tell me on any one level, how much is one divine feminine supposed to take? And if you draw it out, can you complete those sentences and say them out loud and actually face your healing? I sit around and I plot and plan on people's lives. And this is what I do as a dark occultist and a warped mason. And I see who's going to get sacrificed next. I want you to say it out loud and I want you to put it down on an infinity. And every time you say what those things are that has been done to me over 50 years, I want each and every one of you to say, where is this going to end up in my life? Where will I be? When I tried to erase Joanna's memory, where will I be? When I tried to scramble Joanna's memory on everything that I've done to her and the 500 rituals we've done to her, if I try and do this, where will this end up? If I keep sending people to stalk and spy Joanna, if I keep sabotaging her platforms, if I keep derailing people from working with her, if I keep making her sound so bad in the public so that nobody will partner with her, if I keep doing these defamation claims and I keep doing all these things to her, where is that going to end up with me? Everything you do to another is coming back to you. Everything you do to another is coming back to you. Everything you do to another is coming back to you. Everything you do to another is coming back to you. You won't be hidden anymore. The light is profound. Every dark ass thing you do is coming out and everybody will be known. 6 years ago, if you had put it on a table and if you had drawn it out as we suggested, your stories wouldn't be known. Everything would have been held in discretion and you would have carried on with your life and I would have carried on with mine. But instead, you continued to impale me, you continued to attack me, you continued to hold on to my money that's not legally yours. You don't earn that money, you didn't earn it, it's not yours. My work is my work. Nobody's ever been given permission to use my work. Nobody's been ever given permission to use my images. Nobody's ever been given permissions to use my videos. Nobody has ever been given permission to use my name, to say my name, to work with my name in little circles, in little mirrors or little jars or little voodoo dolls in their closets or in the back country of Africa. Nobody has been given permission to use my consciousness in any way other than the benevolence of humanity. So I had to transmute the fuck shit of darkness that has been from every tribe in every human history, and I've had to transmute it. Does anybody ever, besides my clients, has anybody ever reached out to say, how have you been, Joanna? Is there anything I can help you with? How can I help you out, Joanna? How can I donate to you, Joanna? Even though I say it on every video, even though it's on every one of my videos, even though it's on every one of my postings. Nobody. The human testing, the horror that I had to survive, the horror, the PTSD that I still have to heal, the separation from my children, the 7 years of isolation that I will never get back. I will never get those times back. I will never get the years back with my kids. They're gone. I will never get that time back. Does anybody ever say, this is what Joanna's been through? How could have one person survived? All they care about is dumping their crap and their crimes so that they don't have to be held accountable. And how can they get more stuff? How are they going to get out of their crimes? How are they going to get out of their stuff? How are they going to get out of their deeds? Well, all you really had to do from day one is just go in and heal. Same message. Perhaps you heal now. So the arrogance of anyone, of any man, again, divine masculines, you're just starting your healing. So book a healing session if you so must, and there's going to be lots of healers out there to help you. Any man that thinks that you like the energy, and the energy is interesting because it's all balanced and it's cosmic and it's celestial and all of those wonderful great things, which is the energy I emit. And I'm so grateful that my energy is finally getting out there instead of it being blocked, because God's going to show me to the world no matter what. But you have to look at, in your consciousness awareness, a 5D woman that is healed, that has been through 50 years of abuse, enslavement, exploitation, discrimination, the dumbass controlled domination, sex magic, cock blocking bullshit. If you write it out and if you say it out loud, you'll see how ridiculous it sounds and how much wounding there is to be healed. Any person that thinks they're going to come into my life in any other way than co-create on humanity's better half and better, highest, and best, your consciousness has to be a match. Your vibration has to be a match. Especially on a personal level, coming at me in any way that is abusive and stalking and sending minions and doing things in a sneaky, shady, sneaky ass way and trying to creep in and trying to send other people to sneak into my energy. How, again, you have to understand again, you're not getting it. For divine feminine that's gone through 50 years of abuse, you doing things like that is putting you back in the same cycle of your karmic experience, of your karmic cycle. You haven't learned, you haven't grown, you have no respect for divine feminine. You have no respect for the 8 million posts I put out before this. If you treat somebody with disrespect, you will never ever get into my space. If you sacrifice, you will never get into my space. If you harm people and traffic people, you won't get into my space, besides me seeing you in court and saying these are the new healing systems we must bring forward. You have to face your shadow. You have to face what you have done. You have to face how you speak. You have to face, if you're plotting on somebody's life, actually put it on a piece of paper and say, is this really me? Are you serious? And what's that going to get me? A whole bunch of jail time. Is that really what you want? Because you might think that people out in the collective, because you're all covert and you're all sneaky and you're all a secret society and y'all hold each other's backs and promises, I guarantee you everybody in that society is going to turn on each other. Don't hold anybody's secret. Satan ain't going to hold your secret. Satan doesn't care. Lucifer don't care. Your little secret buddy and your little Mason warlockery, they're not gonna hold your fucking secret. The only way to ascend is by letting go and clearing away and being 100% truth. Why would you hold on to other people's secret? Is their debt? Is their burden? Why would you do that? Okay, so you're gonna hold yourself in darkness. Again, you're not getting the alchemy of it all. And again, don't ever think that you're going to be with and try and force and try and manipulate and try and shade and sneak and slither your way into a divine feminine's nest when she's shown you absolutely, unequivocally, without question, without sway, who she is as a divine feminine goddess. She ain't gonna let you in her nest. You've been told 8 billion times. And that's how you can tell the difference in consciousness. Because you're still sneaking, you're still shading, you're still doing the underground, corrupt, hiding stuff. You're not healed. If you were healed, you wouldn't snake, you wouldn't shade, you wouldn't creep, you wouldn't send your minions, you wouldn't spy, you wouldn't stalk, you wouldn't do the shady ass shit that goes on every fucking day. And a divine feminine has to put up with it, and a divine feminine has to heal it every fucking day. And then you wonder why we get frustrated. Well, because we've said the same thing for 8 million times and you just still think that you have entitlement on my energy. You don't. You were told by God 8 billion times. You're not having an ounce of my energy. You have abused it. You have used it. You have done nothing but take. You're spiritual criminals and you will be charged in court. Stop interfering with people's lives with your dark occult ass shit. Go to the table and say to yourself with all honesty, if you want to continue your path to hell, keep doing what you're doing, because that's where you will be. You will never work into ascension. You will never work into a higher healthy body. You will never work into your union with God. You will never work into union and ranking. You will never work into the heavens. You will never work into a higher status of yourself by hurting, harming, taking out, killing, sacrificing, and doing all the things that are done. That have been done to me in one lifetime. There's nobody that would have survived. And so I say to you this beautiful day, dear lighted ones, I claim the power of who I am as a divine feminine. I am a leader and I'm a teacher and I got the Most High walking with me in every moment. I'm here to heal and I'm here to offer healing in the highest states of consciousness that I can ever possibly reach up to, and I'm going to do it. I've got so many profound incredible ideas for 5D new systems for humanity and higher intelligence. All of the system leaders, all of the world leaders, all aspects of church and state absolutely know we can work as a 1-1. And you can be a part of the win-win, and you can be a part of evolution, and you can be a part of clearing your karma, and you can be a part of giving your children a good karmic timeline. And you can come into a good karmic timeline next time around. Or you can do nothing, and your karma will be equal. Or you can keep doing what you have been doing. And it will not be pretty on anybody's side in any way, and it will go directly to your children and your next timeline and your next body and your next brain and everything you come into next, if you do come into anything next. Or you will remain in the dark realms. That is just how energy works. You cannot raise into a higher consciousness experience ever. You will never get to a 5D consciousness, which is where humanity is going, is 5D consciousness. We will never go backwards. 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 Understand evolution, people. It will either be shifting off to darker energies and darker Epstein timelines where you get to play and practice in domination, control, fear, refusal to heal, and misogyny and trafficking. Those will be pulled out into the darker realms. Through the purity of your heart, only the purity of your heart. Only the purity of your heart. Only the purity of your heart will determine what timeline you will be on and what earth you will experience. Only. And those are universal truths. Your religion won't get you there. Your church and state won't get you there. So there is a facing of what has been, a sorting out what has been. Everyone will have to come together and face what has been done in the most egregious and horrible ways, because there's children that need to be healed. We're not going to forget about these children. These children are you, and these children are me. These children will not be raped. They will not be put on videos for the underground. They will not be exploited, and they will not be trafficked. Human trafficking and human abuse on this planet ends, and it ends today. And that's a promise to every heart within humanity that must speak it. If it is your intention to be of new earth, every child will be cared for and held safely, and they will never be trafficked, and they will never be held sacrificial, blood work and voodoo work and root work and jar work, so that they never become their highest potential. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck is anybody to do root work on me for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to make sure I never become anything, while they sit on their fat suits in their fat houses spewing hate to make sure I never become anything? How do you process that? 500 times. So God is the only one to say, my daughter deserves everything we give her. Step out of the way. We're coming. People have put me through what nobody can imagine. As a high-functioning empath, as a psychic, as a seer, as a conduit. I am that I am, and whatever I get, I will share. With those pure of heart, only directed through God. What is my part in this transaction? And the past, I will not be your karmic healers. I will not be your karmic fixers. You have to sit in what you created, and that was the law. 2 years ago. You will not dump your karma on anybody. You will not deflect it on anybody. You will not switch it on anybody. You're not going to destiny swap on any. You're not going to touch any other person's soul or spirit. Everybody's seen what you've been doing behind closed doors, and the legions and the heavens and the karma board and the highest of the angels aren't letting you do nothing. Nothing that you try, nothing that you do will work. You are all on final notice. Everything is coming back to you. You will not succeed in any of your hate tactics. Just know that. The Systems of Light would like to introduce and thank Joanna as a cosmic leader of light, as a transmitter of higher life codes. She is an illuminary path of the righteous ways of her practiced spirit and eternal life, that which is source. She is a practiced ethereal connection and navigation of co-creation, that is the interfacing I have with source, through healing and manifesting of all source's aspects that she can choose to tap into. There is always higher order in every new dimension that you move within. There is always infinite capacities of every dimensional bandwidth that you exist within. The multiverse exists within every now moment of who you are, and there is a platform of infiniteness of everywhere you are. We recognize as an integral part of the program of light and for the evolution of all humanity and all species that there are various influences within your dimension that will help you reactivate who you are, to remember who you are, to influence who you are in the highest vibrational states through also honoring the universal laws, no interference. But we just come here as an influence to activate your multidimensionality, to activate yourself as your remembrance of source, that you can transmute and you can move through anything, no matter how hard it might seem, to never surrender and bow to lesser stories, to never surrender and bow to anybody's control or dominance over you, to stand in your power and always honor who you are. Joanna is a conduit and understands and works within subsystems and social systems of the multiverse through her programs, through hybridization, and she is here to assist humanity into higher comprehension of who we are as multivibrational beings. She has an extensive scope on wisdoms that branch out into not only the topical earthly issues and the constructs of earthly issues and the sociological earthly issues, and why we can help with bringing sociology, psychiatry, psychology into new frequencies, as well as I'm going to hopefully work with many frequencies and research with the brain, because I love working with the brain. And the interplay of light, again, the interplay of light, all that is matter interplays with light, because it is. Everything's source. Source is everything. Our matter is source, varied densities, and however much your consciousness is directly equal to your density of your matter body. So the higher consciousness you are, the more light matter your matter body is. And again, that's when you activate your light body, and then you can move about in your Merkaba, as was shown in the earliest days of text, the Elijah, moving up in the ball of fire, which was his Merkaba. She has mastered much within the human experience of those of you that she teaches. Those of you that are my teachers, I'm assisting you to master the fourth dimensional range, which is the mastery of your emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual bodies. No matter what is before you, you're going to master how to alchemize it and how to remain in your center. Remember, your center point is always changing. So that's part of my teachings too, is I help you master your output, because your output is what you're going to be getting. So remember that. We're here to master our anger. We're absolutely here to feel angry, for sure. This is where I show you in my videos. It gets very frustrating when you say the same thing 8 billion times and you're still not being respected. That's how you know the people that are doing those things, they don't have respect for themselves, because they have no idea of what a boundary is, and they just keep breaking the boundaries. So again, if they were wanting to clear their karma, they would respect what God has said and start going within and working on their issues. Because you need to respect boundaries, otherwise it's going to come back in karma. So again, you in your mastery and in your mastery of your sandwich and your salad and what you're going to move through for your next evolution of time, you get to state what you want before you. You get to state in more pure, as you're working through and releasing old timelines that are not serving you, that are just harming you, that just take from you and steal from. They want to keep going on those karmic cycles. When you close those out physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you then hand it over to spirit and let them do those final thread pullings, and so that is done in the most highest and applicable ways. I honor everybody from the past, great soul lessons. I appreciate everybody for all the soul lessons. It is time that we all move on. There is no more back and forth. There's no more discussions. We all need to move on. Everybody needs to move on. So tomorrow morning, wake up. It's a new reality. Everybody's going to move on. Okay? The games have stopped. It's all over. Move on. Right? God's giving you a new chance to move on. One thing I wanted to mention here before we go, because my battery's going here. And I want you guys to think about this with intimacy, because it's so fun. And healing, intimacy and healing. But I wanted you to think about this. I watched a video recently of my favorite band, Rush, and one of the best songs that I get really inspired by is the song called Xanadu. They're such intricate musicians, and they understand how to orchestrate music. They understand the intro. They understand the song and the story they're trying to play within their music and their lyrics. And I've watched many, many interviews of all of them, and their joint intention. So this is about synergy and co-creation with Source. Synergy and co-creation with you, synergy and co-creation with a partner, synergy and co-creation with other creative collectives. Synergy is really important, and it assists us in intimacy. It assists us in activating new chakra energy for the templates. And so one of the things that Getty, frontman Getty, Canadian band, Getty had said in his interview is that he was being asked how, after playing for 40 years, they're playing the same songs over and over. How does the band come for like their final shows and stuff, still playing the same songs and still make it fresh and new? And so Getty had said, because they have such an intimacy and their triad intention was always the same, to be their very best every night they came on. Even if it was the same music, even if they were doing, they would always try and, change it somewhat as far as the arrangement of the songs and what songs they played. But every night, each of them individually, to play their very best of their instruments, to add to the team as their very best, but also as a collective play their very best. That was always their intention in all of their recordings. And if you watch any of their videos, of their interviews separately, all of them will state that their priority of coming forward as their creative offering, as their sacred offering of who they were, was simply to play the very best music they could and to play very complex music. And so Getty's response to that question was that there is so much that can be missed in the co-creation and connection when you're playing in a band. So when they're on stage and playing the same song they played 40 times, Getty said that I would look at the drummer and there would be that connection there, and he could tell when the drummer was going to add something, or tell when the drummer was going to pull off and maybe do the hit a little bit later. There was always weird timings in that band and the music they played. And so he said in that eye contact, it allowed them for greater synergy because they could improvise wherever they wanted to, because they got so used to reading each other. They got so used to being in cohesion with their intelligence of what they were with each other. And he said, and then I would look at Alex, and then I would see him do a lick, and then I could play on my lick, because they were so very well versed at their instruments, so good at their own instruments. And even though they'd play the songs a million times, and even if you go back to any of their historical recordings, every time they played Xanadu, it was always different. Every time they played La Via Strangiato, it was always different. That's how they had that synergy with each other. So I wanted you to take that into consideration. And he said very poignantly, and he didn't realize he was saying it, but I caught it, as a higher consciousness being. He said, sometimes in a co-creation in a band, what many bands do, and we'll see it today, and why there's not very many great bands out, is because when they are playing live, they forget that connection with each other. To play off of those open opportunities where you want to improvise on something, or you're playing off each other's, they had such perfection in their synergy, and that's what they were always known for, is their precision of their technical abilities with each of their instruments. And they were so very intent on playing better every night. They really wanted the audience to feel their very best in all of the music they put forward. And so that was their intention. Remember, direction, intention, and focus, and why they will always be one of our world's top bands in many different ways, whether it's lyricism, whether it's putting the music together, whether it's arrangement, whether it was just the technical abilities of their instruments, because they got it. They got how to co-create at a very high level. They were all star seeds. They didn't know it. They're all star seeds. They all came with a very high aptitude and capacity to understand difficult arrangement and timings and then put it together in musical composition. Now, when he said that, he said there's so much that bands miss when they're playing together because they just don't have that connection or the synergy. They try, but you can't force synergy. Synergy is just a matter of just allowing the flow, allowing each other to be their very best, and then improvising when and how the song needs it and pulling off. And, there's no ego in it. There's just allowing each other to be their very best. And so that was a very poignant comment, and that goes into what we're saying about intimacy. Each of them have an unconditional trust within each other to allow each other to be higher and better musicians every single time they came out. And why, even to this day, if they were to play a live thing now, which they can't because one of them passed away, but if they were to play today, they would still be putting different versions of the same songs, because that's just their intention to create at a high level. Every time they put something on, I wanted to say, and similarly to me as well, every time I come onto a video, I want to bring a little bit of something different of my own personal experiences about how I transcended, about how I'm human as everybody else, about how I've always dreamed of my unity with Source, and I've always talking with Spirit. I'm always talking with, all aspects of life, and I want to bring different versions of myself for the synergy of how we can co-create in being genuine, in being authentic, and saying, this is how we heal, and we become, closer to the heart. And so he said when we just have that center, we just look at each other and we know when we can add the lick, and we know when we can do this, and sometimes that's missed in co-creations. So don't forget how important connection is to building relationship with anybody that you're with, to create that level of intimacy that brings greater output, that brings greater flow, that brings greater creative abilities, that brings creative intimacy. And I always ask too with my higher partner that I've been practicing with, I'm asking my very favorite friends that come with me in spirit to be with me and just to give me the love that I need, because I haven't had much love here on this planet. And I say, what can I give for you? What is it that you need from me? And ask those questions of intimacy. How can I be with you in this moment? How can I be loving you in this experience? And what is it you need from me? So that you can be that synergy flow and be the very best for each other. The thing that I always comment about Rush, and I always post on my platform, and if you just go and listen to their music, they're a very highly intelligent band. The things that I like about the intelligence of Rush is that they bring all that they are to the table, and they don't hold anything back. You know, their intellect, their performance, their precision, they're authentic, they're genuine. They've never hid behind anything that they are. It's very genuine, it's very truthful, it's very honest, and why each and every one of them have gone out into different branches of creating. So they're even creating now, and they're into I think they're just about 70. But there's no stopping them. They're creating now because they're so authentic. They're so genuine. They're sharing their journey. They're sharing their gifts. They have such a proficiency of music and such a high aptitude of really incredible music that just, it's just the timing is different. The words are out there. I mean, they just put it all together in this high consciousness mishmash, and it activates you. Rush is an activational band. They're there to activate you. And that's why their lyrics have always been so poignant, and they work together in such a great synergy. But the creative genius that is unconditional trust, that is so important between you and Source, between you and your teams, between you and God, Mother, Father. So just have that. Your teams have been saying to me lately, when you have this level of intimacy, it allows for greater flow and range to reach higher, which then activates the lower So as you reach higher, you activate the lower chakras with new templates of light. So again, that synergy and unconditional trust. So have that one or two people that you can call in and you can work with. So have those people that you want to say, yeah, I really trust you at a really deep level. Can we work on intimacy in a different way? And it can just be a friend base. It can be like a work relationship. It can be those different things. You get to set the ground rules. And this is where I said on the low, medium, and high, there's going to be infinite expansions and expressions on all those levels. So, and those that have been my clients and my students for a while, you're going to be helping those on all those different levels. And because God's going to place you and lift you up, and God will place you and lift you in those experiences. So just know that. So with the intimacy, what do you need to have greater intimacy? So again, because we've chosen to cut ourselves off because of trust and safety issues, we want to, and also have that higher self intimacy, that higher self connection, because as you reach higher, those codes come down and they place them on the lower chakras. So every time you go through a new ascension cycle, you get those new codes placed on the lower, and then it goes up to the higher. So again, the cascading comes all the way down, goes to the root. Cascading comes down, goes to your sacral. Cascading comes down, goes to your solar plexus, and then so on. It always goes to the lowest chakras first and then all the way up. So that's why intimacy is so important to keep working on, because every ascension cycle, as my client had stated in her beautiful write-up she had to me, she's discovering, and if she did, and this is what I say about path work, and do your path work and then bring it on these sessions and like have conversations about your path work, because you are the ones that are proving it to yourselves how much you're growing. And then if she did it next week, she's going to have a whole different exploration of the same perspective, just in a different version, because she's then gone into another week deeper. That's doing the ascension path work, when that you're all segments of that dodecahedron. That's doing the path work. That's mastery. So that's why I'm so excited to hear everything from all of you and all of the successes you're having with your path work. So we're just going to do a light language, dear lighted ones. We're just going to do a light language because I have no battery left. We're so happy, we're so happy, we're so happy. And in this intention, we want to have an intention of stepping into new earth systems, new earth co-creations, new earth intimacies. new earth explorations, expressions, and experiences of who we are. And everybody, no matter where they're at, lower, middle, and high within the consciousness levels of who they are, everyone in the lower vibrational consciousness has been the catalyst for all of our learning, for all of our growing. Everybody is needed, everybody is valued. Make your story your healing. Make your story your experience. Make your story your expression of love, unconditional acceptance for yourself, and start healing your wounds. Make your story your healing expression. Make your story your life. Your story is your life. I promote and I empower all of those from my past. Make your story your healing. Make your story your healing. Write your own stories. Write your own blogs. Write about everything that you're going through in whatever it is that you're going through. Write your stories about your experiences in dark occult and how you transcended it. Write your stories about what you transcended. Write your stories about how you recognized that you hurt somebody that you cared about. Write it all out. Start writing, start creating, start expressing, start healing yourself. I empower all of you. And everybody is forgiven. Everybody from the past, you are forgiven. I wish you well. Return whatever you want to return. I'm moving on anyways, okay? So just know that. Everybody's forgiven. The cords are all cut. I don't hold anything to anybody. It is all held to Source Creator. I surrender everything. I'm releasing all past energies. I'm releasing all past timelines. I'm releasing all past angers and frustrations about saying the same thing over and over. I admit to the frequency of patience. I'm submitting to patience because not everybody is at the same consciousness level and everybody needs to get their thing in their own time. So I appreciate that and I value that because it adds to Source Creator. I'm becoming more patient within myself. I'm becoming more patient for new ways. That we're rewriting all of 3D and we're gonna make some mistakes. We're gonna go back and forth and we're gonna create things over and over and over again. We're not meant to get everything on the first try. So this is not about perfection again. Go back to that video. What was our pillars and our understanding? What were the pillars of our 3D constructs that showed us about perfection? Because we want to keep aligning with our 5D perfection. You're always perfect in every moment. God loves you unconditionally in every moment. Mother, Father love you. You're perfect children in every moment. So try giving that to yourself first. So we're gonna intend that we realign to unconditional love of ourself, focus of ourself, the intention of ourself, the direction of ourself as being the mirror of Mother, Father, God, our balanced divine feminine energies, divine masculine energies, and that everybody outside of us, that we respect their soul's journey, we respect their soul's path, we stay out of their way, we stay out of their energy, and we allow ourselves to learn from everything that we've gone through, no matter how hard and challenging it is, and we see the lighter side of it. We see the honor that the shadow offers us. We see the honor that the light offers us, and we allow us to live in unity and harmony as one. All is needed and all is equal. There is only balance. We honor the shadow for what it teaches us. We honor the shadow to allow us our strength. We allow us the shadow to honor us in new stories of co-creation for humanity, to know that whatever we've manifested in our human collective, we will not judge it, we will release it, and we will heal it. Because we want to be higher vibrating family. We want a family of oneness. We want to know that we can come back in another timeline and say, wow, I did a great job. Everything is possible. Right now, everything is possible. Right now, everything is possible. Right now, everything is possible. I can get myself on track to love and confidence and self-security because I write who I am. I design who I am. Mother, Father have my path for me. And I am in charge of my health. I'm in charge of my intelligence. I'm in charge of my DNA. I am in charge of my reality. Take a deep breath in and just feel yourself being bathed with holy white light. Violet flame cleansing and clearing your fields, your bodies, your organs. Call in the light, call in the light, call in your soul fragments. Call in all of your soul's energies, call in all your soul's light. Hai shenamana ke de ke namana ke de ke sianama kai de ke shenama a da e nine namakada de de namada da e de. Take a deep breath, call in the light, call in the light. Te shenamana kada de ke namakada de ke shenamakada de gate, na e te na ma e de gate, na e de gate, na e de gate, la na e de gate, na e de gate, day. Take a deep breath. Call in your 5D blueprint. Call in your new earth blueprint. When you wake up tomorrow, you're going to feel so different. You're going to have new light in your cells. You're going to have new light in your organs. You're going to be fully aligned with your higher self. In every moment, what is my part in this transaction? In every moment, I surrender to my higher self and the Mother, Father that are bathed within the center of my being. Within every moment, I accept my shadow. I accept all of my triggers. Within every moment, I accept all of creation being Source Creator. The dark, the negative, the positive, and everything in between is all Source Creator. I give love and acceptance to all that is Source Creator, and I create new systems because I can see all things as valued. All things are purposeful. Source Creator is, and I can stand in my truth when I need to set boundaries. I stand in my truth when I get to say no. I stand in my truth when I'm setting out intimacy for all those that want to come in and meet me at an equal measure vibration, because I get to choose that. I get to choose equal measure relationships that will give to me equally, that will meet me equally, that will give back to me equally, that will allow me to flourish equally, that will lift me as I lift them. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah, I get to be lifted. I get to receive. It feels so good. So take 3 deep breaths and say, I will receive the light equally I put out. I will receive the light equally I put out. I will receive equally the light that I put out. My body is light, my mind is light, my spirit and soul are light. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father. I love you so very much, my dear lighted ones. If you'd like to donate or book a session, I love new client sessions, so please book a session. If you want to talk to me, if you want to explore things, if you want to consider your vocational alignment for 5D, please book a session. My emails are in all of my videos. I love all of you. I love all of you. I love all of you. We're sending you love and light, and so please, please, please share our channel, share our channel. They can't stop us from sharing my channel, no matter how much they try and shadow ban me. I love you, dear lighted ones, my cosmic little rainbows. Rainbow hugs and kisses, and I rainbow